I know my destiny. Destiny.
Welcome YouTube audience to NODWIN Valorant Challenger South Asia. We're currently inside the grand finals of that, a matchup between OG and Godsreen.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the matchup that you all have been waiting for. Across the span of more than 1.5 months, we have seen some incredible Valorant action in South Asia, and it all culminates to this very day. These teams have been through the thick and thin, they've been through hell and back, and now they're ready to walk the mortal plains once again, where only one of them will be crowned as the king of Split 1. Godsreen logo already has a crown in it, so can they manifest it? Can they take the trophy for themselves? Or will the boys in orange paint the Godsreen boys red? Will they lather them in blood, or will they be struck down?
I mean, at least they're having smiles on their faces, so that's a good thing. That's a sign of friendly nature. But what Autumn said yesterday, as you mentioned, they're here to farm. So the confidence is going to be looking good from both the sides. I'm loving the banter so far. Tesseract, I like his glasses. I hope that he's going to be playing with them on, but no, I mean, it's probably not going to happen. It's going to be tough for this man to try and see in the screen, so he's not going to play. But those glasses look pretty good on him.
I know, right? They look pretty damn good. I was expecting Thug Life glasses as well on his eyes, but I guess this one's much more classier, much more significantly better. And then comes Antidote with his classic tribute to Ronaldo pose. I guess he really loves that player and he takes it as an inspiration. Antidote himself has been an inspiration to several young players in the country. So now his chance to shine. It's his turn to show them why he's the boss.
And I'm pretty sure he will show them why he's the boss. Teams are getting prepared soon enough. We're going to move on forward towards the map veto. Just to let the YouTube audience know that have just joined us a while ago, it's going to be a best of 5 series. So that means each of these teams will get a map ban per. So let's see what bans we're going to be seeing, because that's what it's all going to boil down to. And let's see what the first 3 maps are going to be. If it's going to be favoring any of these teams, then there's a high chance we're probably going to be seeing a 3-0, considering both these teams have been looking in a huge and a phenomenal form.
Yeah, the form of OG has been phenomenal so far. Godsreen had a shaky start in the playoff, but ever since then, they've gone from strength to strength. They've patched all their weaknesses, plugged all the holes in their armor, and reinforced it with steel and iron will. But will that be enough to survive against the relentless onslaught of OG, who look formidable? Only time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. Within moments, we will descend into the battlefield. But first, let's take a look at where these battles will take place. The map video will be on your screen soon enough, and we've given away our predictions. If you have some predictions of your own, let us know in the chat. Let's see which one of you get it correct.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to ask you for a prediction as soon as we see the map veto in front of us, Crips.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you which team is going to come through victorious, all right? But as soon as we take a look at the map veto, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the map veto in front of us. OG is going to go for the first ban, and they're going to instantly opt out for the Lotus ban because Godsreen, as I said, they have been looking really good on Lotus. And then Godsreen will go ahead and ban the map of Fracture, as we pointed this out as well, saying that Fracture has been a really strong suit for the side of OG. Instantly, OG is going to go ahead and pick up the map of Icebox, where they have been dominating so far, and we even saw them dominate recently. But I really want to see what Godsreen is going to pick over here. Haven, I mean, it is a solid pick. It is the pick of Godsreen. They have been looking pretty phenomenal on that map, but as I said, recently some cracks have been discovered, some loopholes have been found.
Yeah, and because those loopholes have been found, Godsreen will have to work extra hard to patch them. OG looked phenomenal on Icebox. They defeated TrueDippers 13-1 just a couple days ago, so it makes sense that they'll pick it up. I'm kind of unsure about how Split's gonna go. I really don't know who's gonna win that out. But Godsreen looked great on Pearl if they're able to play aggressively. OG will have to work extra hard to make sure that all the aggression that Godsreen bring to the table is nullified right off the start. If not, if you give Godsreen too much map control and let them get comfortable, things will be very, very dicey. And last but not the least, Ascent. Man, Ascent has been a roller coaster ride for Godsreen, isn't it? They lost every single map in the group stage, and then just yesterday we saw them come alive on Ascent like never before.
Yeah. They're quite promising on Ascent, and to be honest, if Ascent was in the first 3 maps, I feel like Godsreen should have had a really huge chance of winning this one. But taking a look at the map, it just feels like it's highly favored towards OG, because look at the first 3 map, Icebox, Haven, and then you've got the 3rd map, Split. So all these 3 maps, OG, they have been looking incredible. They have been looking immaculate. But you know what? For now, let's move on forward and take a look at the agent select to the map of Icebox. We're not going to be seeing any changes at all. It's pretty much going to be a mirror matchup.
Yep, Icebox has always been one of those maps of mirror matchups. Even the composition doesn't really change. All that it comes down to is how well can you look. OG, they have gone from playing like a unit to being comfortable splitting up as well. So now that OG are good on executes as well as those split plays, they look very strong. Godsreen, on the other hand, have mostly relied on those set-piece executes, and they don't really lurk up mid that often. But when they do, it comes down to timing, and it will greatly rely on the ability of Hoax to read those plays. Let's see if they can actually make this one work. Even Sai, who's generally playing towards the mid-region of that map, will have to be extra cautious, because I'm pretty sure that RVK will try to play very sneakily today.
Let's see soon enough. We're gonna move in forward inside the map of Icebox, a map that really favors highly the tactical nature. And oh, I really love this new stuff. The AR, huh? I mean, that's what you call it, right? The augmented reality.
Augmented reality.
If I'm not right.
Yeah. It's amazing we have this extra production value for the grand finals, and it makes sense to give the best possible entertainment to our lovely YouTube and our local audience. Reminding you guys that there's also another Hindi stream on Loco, and we'll be giving away some Valorant points over there if you are interested in it. So pick your choice and enjoy regardless. It's a best of 5, so I hope that you guys are stocked up on your popcorn. It's gonna be a long and amazing night.
And right off the bat, we're going to start off with a technical pause, but Godsreen on defense and OG on the attack. This is going to be quite interesting. OG, they're one of those dominating forces. They like to assert dominance, and this is the best way for OG to start things off with. On attack, OG will probably try to get as much of a lead as possible, and then on defense, they will try to pretty much try and just solidify that lead they have found themselves and try to take the victory, of course, on the map one. It is the pick of OG, so we're all expecting OG to dominate on this one. We'll be able to find out what the course is going to be looking like, but it seems like every single player from OG is just outside the A side, so probably a fast A might just be upcoming.
Yeah, it might be a fast A, but look at the setup from Godsreen, especially Hoax. It's quite new. Look at the alarm bot placement. It's towards the mouth of B main. Usually you see Killjoys place that turret on kitchen, which is normal, and the alarm bot somewhere on mid. But Hoax has decided to play very passively towards the B side, playing on the back of his alarm bot and reinforcing mid oranges instead. I don't blame him. Given the way that OG love to take mid control, that is a valid setup. But he won't be seeing any of that mid action just yet. We're gonna be seeing an onslaught on A.
Greater start things off. Found a little shot on the enemy player. Look at the trigger discipline. Ticks just waited for that man to stand still. And as soon as he did, he fired the shot. The spike goes down as well. Autumn still in the clotheslines, trying to punish anyone that tries to extend towards his way, and now Autumn's taken down way too low. A couple of bullets just seal the deal, and that's what exactly happens. Godsreen, now they've only got 2 players left alive inside this pistol round. Utility's definitely there to try and deny the plant so far, but considering they've only got 1 last man left alive, this seems next to impossible to try and clutch it out, but it's the large sign-off, and we've seen this man pull off some incredible clutches, but not this time.
Not this time, not yet. He will have to wait some more time before he can finally start bringing those clutches together. It's been amazing to witness OG play so far. Yes, the trigger discipline moment was visually spectacular, but OG can't afford to make mistakes like those again. As soon as raw fuel was executed, I love how OG tried to recover this spike. You see, they were locked out of the action. The barrier orb that was put up by Tix, it forced them to go around the other side of 410, around elbow. And then they were like, why not just go from there? It is much easier to cut off any rotating players like that if you take that particular pathway. Plus, you can always use the elevation of the zip lines to overwhelm Autumn and anyone else who's holding that little radionite box area. So even though things didn't go as per plans, even though raw fuel was killed right at the beginning and the spike was dropped, OG did really well to recover from that deficit.
I think so the big point over here has to be, considering Godsreen, they have 4 players towards that A site. three of them were holding the A side down. The one guy was towards mid watching that, so that's huge considering the opponents sort of had a stack, or at least they were playing for a quick rotation to the A side, and still OG, they came out on top in that battle. It's impressive, and this is exactly what we're talking about when it comes to the aim duels, man. OG, they will take you down no matter what. They've got these little tricks underneath their sleeves that they will try to use it against you once they get a chance and an opportunity to try and do so, shorting the close range. But this time, no value found. Classic's definitely going to strike him down. Oh, somehow Godsreen, they're starting to gather the pace together, and now they've also managed to find a couple of guns in their hands once again. And Tix, make sure that the opponents are not going to fall down, and we're probably going to be seeing an eco round coming in. This is probably going to be a thrifty.
Tesseract has quite a lot of time, but he doesn't know that Hoax is already behind him. He can probably win the duel against Tix, considering he's got more HP and the better weaponry, but Hoax just gives away his position. Now Tesseract has the info, but can he thread the needle? Can he piece the play together? No, he cannot. God's Reign steal the momentum right back.
Great way to kick things off. Already rounds are back and forth. Considering God's Reign this time, they really do just shut down that entire push. They played the similar setup this time, the one that they played in the pistol round. 4 guys on the site playing for a quick rotation, and this time it worked out in their favor. Perfectly done. The crossfires that they had set up overall just made sure that they're going to be denying the entry on the site.
No shields, only sheriffs from Orangutan. And once again, they're heading towards the A side. This time, the Viper's Wall has been committed way too early. Oaks changes his setup. He's leaving B in the capable hands of Core. You know, he himself is guarding Kitchen. Autumn, though, as strong as ever. No chance for OG. God's Reign mow them down without taking even a single tick of damage.
OG found themselves in quite a tricky spot now. Antidote, the last man left alive, and a flawless round from God's Reign. Nice way to kick things off on the map of Icebox. Yeah. I mean, these 2 rounds, it's understandable they only got those, but imagine the amount of impact that God's Reign have had. They converted an eco round into a victory, and those thrifty rounds can have a huge impact in the long term.
Exactly, you can already see that impact by their economy meters. Look at this. You've got Psy and Hoax on 6,000 credits. That is super impressive. And if God's Reign starts snowballing their economy right away, OG is going to have to go in a really deep spot to break that economy. And that spot can be very difficult to get to. So far, OG have only shown us some A-side executes. They haven't really gone B, they haven't really looked up mid yet, so it's still very early days. But given the way God's Reign are playing on the A side, their crossfires look damn strong. It's not like they're very special crossfires, right? One of them will always be towards the generator side. Meanwhile, Autumn is going to keep switching up his positions between rafters and the elbow. Even Sai is playing over there every now and then, and Sai will move there if he doesn't see any presence on mid. So he's a variable. He may or may not always be present towards the A side, but Hoax has definitely made some switch-ups. Look at the Killjoy utility. I mean, obviously you can't see it now because you can see our spectacular stage and all the players, but once you can see the minimap back again, you will notice that the Killjoy utility is now no longer towards the B side. It's on A instead. And the nanoswarms have been positioned in a way which will stop Orangutan from taking elbow control.
But that might just be a little bait from OG, right? To probably try and make their way towards the B.
Yeah, could be. I mean, OG won't realize that it's an A setup already, right? In fact, OG haven't even encountered any KJ utility yet, so I don't think they're even considering that yet. They will probably expect the nanoswarms to be towards the planting spots. That's about it. And that's the only little KJ util that they've run into so far. When Antidote tried to plant the spike and the nanoswarm was activated, that's all he had to do. Move away and try to plant the spike elsewhere. But other than that, I don't think OG will be concerned about the KJ positioning just yet. They have bigger problems to deal with first, and that is get into the site without losing their members.
Let's see if they're going to be able to do that or not, considering the KJ is definitely changing those setups. And I've always been a huge fan of KJ. That is quite fluid. I like the fact that KJs are changing their setups all the time, because I feel like inside defense, KJ definitely does have a huge impact to try and stop the push and also gather a decent amount of info just off of that turret contact. It can give you a man advantage quick enough if used properly. So it definitely does help you out quite a bit. But so far, the A side has been quite a quick rotation side for the side of God's Reign. There's 3 players all the time just stacking towards that A side. They're able to read into OG exactly what they're trying to bring on the table so far. But that can also mean that OG were probably trying to condition them.
Yeah. And it's also a change in the role, right? Whenever you see Ascent, you see Vibhor on Killjoy. And here Vibhor's playing the Viper and Hoax is on Killjoy. So God's Reign have not only changed the setup, but also keep on changing players, which makes a massive difference. OG's first attempt at heading towards the B side, and it's already been thwarted by Autumn. Wow. Double kill, dashes back to safety. And now it's up to Vibhor to make first contact. He's most likely going to join Autumn, and they both will just play very passively. No need for God's Reign to go aggressively now that they've already acquired the man advantage.
Interesting stuff. Antidote's already going to just dome him down in the front lines. And OG, they start winning the duels once again. Lockdown's placed as well. Exactly a fact that I was scared about. Shock darts are there to try and just nullify the plan, or at least for now, but it's not going to be the case. Recon dart was utilized. The scan is off, but unfortunately, Sai, he gets detained. Nothing could be done in that scenario. Sai couldn't even back out because he was getting pushed by another player in the front, and Hoax is going to be the last hope alive. And that also is being extinguished by OG. Great way to try and equalize things out, and they've got the scoreline to their favor once again.
Yeah, equalize the scorelines. It was quite a deep lockdown and very early too. You don't often see lockdowns being invested in the 4th round itself. And the way this lockdown was placed, look at where it is. It covers nearly entirely of the snow pile and the B oranges region. Most of the times the lockdown are placed to just get the site in control and not really pressure oranges as much. And so I thought he was safe, but he never knew that OG will come this deep inside to kill him while he's detained.
Interesting stuff. Once again, OG taking things quite aggressive. Even though they started off with a man disadvantage in the previous round, they still somehow managed to get the advantage back. But what a great shot from Autumn. Oh, that's a delight to watch. And now OG, considering once again they're down on a man, they're already off to a man deficit. Not going to be a good idea. Look at Autumn, so fluid, instantly repositions himself towards the A site. Sort of having a little hinge of where the players might just be. Tesseract going for a scan with their drone, does find a player in the front lines, but they've got no clue that there's an op waiting in the back. It's going to get pushed up, but it's not going to matter. Autumn's just way too quick. This man is lightning fast. Anyone who's going to try to approach him, he will probably shut you down. So just respect him and maybe try to fall back and get your gun saved, because it's a 2-on-5 scenario, and it seems like next to impossible.
And even the spike is dropped in such a deep position. To recover it will be impossible. Can they even discover where Dix is playing? No, they don't. This is the second time he goes and checks towards the same position. And God's Reign are right back in this round. OG did really well to avoid Autumn. As soon as the jet was tagged up by the recon dart, it was basically a death sentence. Autumn had probably the easiest shot of his life onto Aziz. And then OG tried to go towards the A side, hoping to avoid the AWP, but Autumn's already present over there. Repositioned just in time. A very good round from Autumn, as the AWP now is a massive deterrent to OG. And the more they try to avoid it, the more problems they run into. They've already burnt quite some timeouts, and this is very early on in the game as well.
And instantly we're seeing that tactical timeout being pulled out as well. Yeah. I mean, there hasn't even been a lot of rounds so far, and the scoreline is pretty close. Both the coaches are definitely having a lot of talks done. Godspeed, on the other hand, I think so, he's just trying to encourage the team's morale to a little bit more, and maybe trying to explain them a little bit. But OG's coach, I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of insights inside the scenario with how things have been looking like. The A site now is pretty much on a huge lockdown. Approaching the A site is going to be quite deadly for them. So they'll need to try and find out a way to at least try and abuse mid a little bit more, because when AZ's got that position, he was on top of that tube area for a really long time. So it is definitely contestable. Yeah,
definitely. God's Reign, they have shown just regular amounts of resistance towards mid. Usually it's just side playing over there, but every now and then Autumn and Sai will interchange positions to guard mid. This time there's absolutely nothing over there from God's Reign. Only Sai is marking the angle, that too very passively. No KJ util placed over there. In fact, the alarm bot in the hands of Hoax hasn't been deployed yet. He's only used one nanoswarm towards Autumn. The orb is still a massive deterrent. They haven't found a solution to this problem yet.
Whenever you see an AWP in the front, you just gotta know that a lot of players are gonna be strike down. Yeah, the players are right underneath, but it's completely fine. Tix has got things under control, and he's gonna take care of business. Sai, a little bit unaware of the player in the back, but he's completely fine because Antidote just whiffed a lot of shots onto him. But it's honestly quite tough to take down a man on the zipline when he's on full speed, just zooming around.
Yeah, Sai just basically cosplayed Spider-Man over there, and he just zipped across. And if he still was a dying man, if he was still in trouble, he had backup available immediately. God's Reign today are playing like demons. This A site is almost impenetrable. Everybody's hitting their shots.
Forward.
The crossfire between Autumn and Tix is superb, and Autumn's been hitting every single shot. He just doesn't seem to miss. And once again, OG will try their luck on the A site. Let's see if this time's any different. At least they've got weapons now to deal with the problems. They've even got the Hunter's Fury, so you better not get tracked up by this owl drone.
Dude, OG, they're really in love with this A side, huh? Just pressuring that A side over and over again. And that's also sort of catching the players of God's Reign off guard because they never know when a B hit is coming soon, so they always gotta have that B check as well.
Yeah,
you see the operator placed towards B and mid.
Yeah.
He's taking care of those angles.
Yeah, so at least this time OG won't have to deal with Autumn's op. At least that's one little piece of the puzzle that they don't need to worry about. But they still haven't found a lot of information about where God's Reign are. They know that there's going to be a stack on the A side because OG have given away quite a lot of sound cues and clues over here. And they're expecting God's Reign to stack it, but they just want to find the positions. First, Vibor gets discovered, and he gets dealt with. But Tix immediately swings as soon as his teammate dies. And now they've got Rofuel trapped towards Jenny. He's just trying his level best to get back into a safer position. But as soon as he gives away that area, it clears up the space to get Sai back online.
4 players back on the feet for the opponents, and now trouble is going to start knocking on the doors of OG. Raw Fuel and Antidote, these 2 players alive, and as soon as little glimmers found, Tix will capitalize. Antidote, the last man to go, did manage to find one, but finding a second one's going to be a little tough, and he gets dealt with. Perfectly done from God's Reign. They're able to put a huge full stop to this A push all the time, and the main reason for that is that they're having pretty much 4 players positioned towards the A side at all times, ready to gun them down.
Exactly, and these players are also playing in very dynamic ways. Sometimes the crossfire is a very standard one between 410 and Jenny. Sometimes the generator guy doesn't even peek, he's waiting for the contact, and then they peek together. So the way that God's Reign are positioning their players on this A side keeps on changing every now and then. It's not just the Killjoy setup that keeps on changing. And because OG have failed so many times on the A side, they will now try to explore B and mid. And they will run into a nasty surprise over here as well because Autumn's ready to intercept.
Pretty sure something interesting will be trying to pull off over here in God's Reign once again. They start striking bodies down. OG not able to find a cure to the disease in the front in the name of Aziz. Or in the name of Autumn. Aziz is trying to approach him in the close quarters, but unfortunately he will be taken down as well. Things not really going up for them. Not really going that well, and Autumn will seal the deal on the final man. Another round in the favor of God's Reign. They're really starting to run away with the lead now.
Yeah, but this seemed like a problematic round. It wasn't like God's Reign did anything special to deal with them. This first shot that Autumn hit and the pick that Tix got, that was the only normal part about this round. But then Aziz and RVK give solo fights to Vibor. Rofuel so far behind, not playing along with his team. Yeah, this looked like a round which OG had a lot of problems in.
Right here.
And unlike the previous round where at least the trading wasn't an issue, this is a problem that has just propped up, and OG need to nip it in the bud. They can't afford to let this become the standard.
And I like how God's Reign are really relying on their tactical nature, huh? They're having those players just placed towards the A side because they've realized the fact that there's a high chance there's an A hit coming soon enough. And most of the rounds they've done that, but inside this round that's not going to be the case. But still, that's Soa on mid. He's playing for rotate. Viper's Pit is definitely helping them out to lock this site down, at least for now. But for how long is the huge question.
And you can
Hunter's
see
Fury
how
is available in the hands of Tesseract, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to utilize it just yet.
And you can also see how Vibhor is playing on top of 410 instead of somewhere downstairs. Remember that one round in OG versus True Rippers where RVK was able to just use the zipline and go across the Viper's pit without anyone from True Rippers finding out?
Yeah.
That's exactly why Vibhor is playing on top, so that even the zipline gets covered. And the Viper's pit covers the 410 box on elevation as well, so there's no sneaking past this. OG have no choice but to hit the B side, but they've already spent quite a lot of time in doing so. Only 30 seconds left. If God's Rain prop up any problems for them now, OG won't even have time to recover or make adjustments.
Spike planted.
Rawfield will just dedicate himself for that plant. And he does get it down too. Hunter's Fury is not going to be able to catch him, but it's completely fine. Autumn this time will be catching that man. Slipping by RVK. Didn't know that there's another man in the back lines just waiting for him to peek out. And as soon as he does, he gets dealt with. And once again, Autumn with the operator is just proven out to be a huge menace, a huge problem in the shoes of OG. They're not able to find any sort of counters, and now even he's going to start to slice and dice his opponents with the Plate Storm. Tesseract utilizes his Hunter's Fury. OG not really able to find that sweet spot, not really able to find that sweet comfort. They're just losing out on the rounds back to back, and Autumn is going to go for the stick. He realizes the opponent's quite far away, so might as well try and stick it and get it done, and he does it.
God's Rain deal with every problem one step at a time. They did not even know that Tesseract was towards the mid-region until he popped open his Hunter's Fury. And the moment he did that, God's Rain realized that there's absolutely no problems for them if they continue sticking. I have to appreciate the play that RVK was trying to make. This is the first time that OG were able to deal with the mid-tube area really well. And the flank from RVK would have been amazing. It's just unfortunate that somebody from God's Rain was still rotating late. So even though he was prepared to fight towards Snowman, somebody shot him in the back of his head, who was still rotating via mid. So even RVK's flank was dealt with. And then Tesseract made the bold attempt to go all the way around, but it ended up backfiring so hard after his initial wave of Hunter's Fury was over. OG once again attempt the BT. This time not showing any mid presence at all. It's just gonna be a burst out towards the site.
Yeah. This is definitely a little bit of change of the sites now. OG, they're just completely dedicating themselves to the individual sites all the time, but Vibhor is not going to let the man go away this time. Rawfield all the time, whenever he tries to dedicate himself for that plant, he usually gets taken down. But he's sort of like the sacrificial lamb as well. Hopefully the sacrifice is going to be worth it in the future. Viper's Pit initiated, and so far, it is definitely working out in their favor, but unfortunately, they're losing out on these mans who are trying to give the aim duels to the opponents. Tesseract from the back lines is going to get a huge 3K. This man might just be the equalizer that the players of OG need. A big wall to try and nullify Tesseract's impact, at least for now, and he cannot stop the defuse once again.
Oh man, I feel so bad for Tesseract. He used the Hunter's Fury in the previous round. This time he shows up with his big guns and gets a nice triple kill. That would have been a game changer. But once again, the spike simply isn't planted for him and he cannot stop the defuse. Autumn being the tip of the spear for God's Rain. He has been phenomenal in his approach this time. And the moment the Viper's Pit was taken offline, this round was basically destined for God's Rain. The moment they kill RVK, it belongs to God's Rain. And Tesseract, as impressive as he can be, as many frags as he's got 14 frags while the rest of his teammates are on 6 or less. And even though he's doing a phenomenal job of bringing the firepower for the team, it's just simply not there at the right time and the right place.
Lockdowns initiated from OG. Now they're starting to get quite desperate because the opponents are running away with a huge lead. None of us expected this to happen, but God's Rain, they're somehow able to capitalize on the opponents. A great wall to try and deny any sort of entries from that side. And that's also bought him a lot of time, that's for sure. God's Rain, they've also managed to get every single player on that rotate now. They're quite close to the side over here. And OG, they're starting to play for this post plant. Let's see who's going to be able to win those duels inside this post plant as God's Rain, they're slowly and steadily starting to barrage through on the site.
And OG are all playing from the side. Only Antidote has fallen back towards the belt region to protect any backstabbers. It's going to be a massive brawl over here. Tesseract is playing a one and done spot. Rawfield's there to help him out, so he doesn't get traded away, but Autumn finally strikes. He's got quite a lot of work to do. He can find out where Rawfield is. He saw the gun battle, but can't shoot him down. OG finally recover.
Dude, that was so close. I thought Raw Fuel's gonna be done there. No way. But Raw Fuel eventually was able to shut him down. Once again, just because OG got that side control and they played perfectly off of the post plans, just kept themselves hidden, that disciplined play worked out in their favor. And OG, as long as they're getting the side control, it shouldn't be that tough for this team to try and seal the deal too. But on B, it's not the case. All the time, somehow, Godsreen is always able to clinch their fist on the B side and claw their way back.
Yeah, and this time they played all close towards the side so that Rafael can actually use his resurrection. They didn't have too many of those AoE abilities available. No Viper Spit, no lockdown. So that's why they had to just continue brawling towards the side itself. This time OG once again hitting the B side. Folks prepared this time. Things tries to slow them down, but this time Rafael is planting in a slightly different spot ahead of his barrier rob. And he still has no space because the nanoswarms are being such a pain in the side for him. There's barely any cover left. This wall is about to break. And if that's not enough, the Hunter's Fury will be used by Tesseract to give his planter just a little bit more cover so that he can at least survive and plant that down.
Oh my
Rocket
god!
catches the timing really well. Hoax instantly dealt with.
That's a massive frag onto him. Autumn instantly strikes in and goes for the refrag, and he actually does get it as well. Godsreen, they're starting to get the grip back once again on this site. That's what it seems like. They've got all the 5 players up. They've also got the man advantage down, and now even the lockdown's initiated. A big move from the sides of Godsreen to try and get this map secured, and to try and get this round secured so far. Ticks moving up close and personal, but the lockdown's gonna find a detention on the man in the close. RVK gets dealt with, and Godsreen, as I said, once again they start to claw their way back on the side, but the time's ticking away in the favor of OG, and they will get this round secured. A lot of utilities thrown in the way of OG, but they still somehow managed to win the round.
And OG basically outplayed Godsreign in this one tactically. As soon as the lockdown was placed, Godsreign expected Tesseract to flank from mid once again. That's why you could see that Autumn was still marking oranges, because he fully expected some flanker to come through, but that flank never arrived. And all of the members of OG fall back temporarily towards B greens and then come running back to deny the defuse instantly.
Oh man, way too close for comfort, huh? And look at this, player versus players in front of us so far. The ACS of Autumn is just skyrocketed. 19 kills and 7 deaths. That's a KD of a god right there. And Autumn is just impersonating that. So far, as I said, if Autumn's able to find those connections, it's going to be quite an incredible stuff for him. And that's what has exactly happened. But still, Godsreen, they do have a huge lead solidified. And that's going to be it for the first half, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be right back after the short break.
For my wings, I need my hands. This life is real. Can't play pretend. Came off the beach. I get it in.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
For my wings, I need my hands. This life is real. Can't play pretend. Came off the beach. I get it in.
Welcome back into the second half. It's an 8-4 half in the favor of Godsreen. They're able to stomp through in the first half against OG. But let's find out what the second half is going to look like. OG, so far, they have been challenged on their own map pick. And I'm pretty sure now they're starting to feel that jealousy and that fire.
Revealing area. Tesseract has a lot of frags. He's gotten a lot of kills to his name, and now Aziz also starts to step up. But unfortunately, most of the frags that Tesseract has were just consolation kills, which didn't result in the round conversion. Godsreen, on the other hand, have both Hoax and Autumn firing on all cylinders. Even Tix is having quite a lot of frags to his own name. So this is a team that is very, very good over here. They're playing super well. All of them are feeding themselves. But can they convert this? Creeping up towards the B side where RBK lies in wait. Poison Cloud activated just at the right time to give him a slight one-way angle. but it still doesn't result in anything. A gap in the wall, and Antidote exploits it.
Oh, that was not even a gap. He just straight up pre-fired that angle because he knew that that's probably going to be a basic spot to plant. Just the wall this time was not really exactly on the point, but it's completely fine as long as they get the plant down before now. Godsream, things are starting to slip out of hand, and it seems like this round will as well. But Sai able to keep his cool and still able to connect those shots on the enemy players. Rafael way too low for comfort. They will still now to try and go for that 2 peak, and they will eventually get the round secured. That double peak in the end, he worked out quite fine.
Yeah, as soon as Rafael got that to half, that's when the other guy also peeked out. They both played really well on this one. Antidote was so patient. He was just baiting Sai. He was hoping that Sai has to cover a lot of ground and come to the other side of the yellow box in order to actually come in and stop the defuse. And they timed it correctly. As soon as the half defuse was done, Rafael got off the bomb and started to shoot down. You can't afford to give Sai these 1v1s. He's got a very impressive clutch rate, so you don't, you can't have him getting all these chances.
Yeah. Especially a clutch player, you can never let him feel himself. Once you do, he will start hitting shots that you can only imagine of. Speaking about that in OG, once again, they're going to let the side control take away. Considering they know the opponent is only on an eco, they're going to be completely fine with the side control given away. But those are some nice connections found from Tesseract. All the time, OG able to find these kills through the wall. This wall at this point in time is pretty much next to useless because these kills they're finding all the time on the planners is actually impressive.
Yeah, and now they'll have to wait for Vibhora's Toxin to get recharged so they can activate that Toxin screen again. He does it without fully recharging, so they have a very narrow time window, and it falls back down again. The moment it does, OG rack up the kill feed. They're getting all the frags. Tix has some stylish shots still left in his sleeve. Can he find any more? Even if he can, it won't result in the round win. So OG have been able to take the pistol and the subsequent second round for themselves, which is great, you know, because in the first half, God's Reign stole that pistol momentum away from them by winning the second.
OG on defense definitely looking like a very well-oiled team. With the rotations they're able to pull off, and with the decision making so far in defense, they're looking like a well-oiled machine. But let's see for how long this thing's going to keep on carrying on forward, considering now it's going to be a bonus round for them. And for the opponents, it's going to be a huge buy round. Light arbors for them though, so that means still somewhere down line, OG should have a little bit of chance to try and bounce back inside this one too. OG, they're on 6, while their opponents are on an 8. They have still not managed to find the equalizer. There's 4 players trained in the clotheslines. AZ's going to reposition himself. Positions known. So they'll probably try to take AZ's down as quick as possible, but now it's not known anymore. AZ's on that aggressive page, able to get those kills in the hand. Gets scanned through the dart as well, but that's not going to matter. He's managed to fall back to safety.
Oh, and even though Aziz is doing quite a lot, at least his teammates are being taken care of. So God's Reign have some sort of a man advantage. At that close range, even the Spectres can be deadly. Aziz has an opportunity to upgrade the weapon, but he doesn't do it because he doesn't want to give away a sound cue. And now that he's got the thing, he can go for the bigger weapon. He can go for the spike carrier. It's been dealt with. He knows he's also tagged up bottom. So he only needs to deal with one more person, and even Sai's position has now been discovered. Time for Antidote to make the move. He can get the shot on the Sai, and the other one as well.
2 quick taps and the dart naps for the opponents. OG, AZ single-handedly starts to stack them up on top of each other. That repositioning play from the side of him was just incredible. Just pushing up further, not even trying to fall back, and then single-handedly just overheating in the front, still managing to get those kills and those dinks on the enemy players. They were way too low, and then from the back, Antidote, he wraps around and seals the deal.
God's Reign, their lead is slipping by, and they need to start making some big moves. Maybe not necessarily in this round because they don't have the weaponry, but when the score does equalize, and it looks like it will, given the momentum, what do God's Reign do after it? Rushing at them with their sheriffs out like it's the Wild Wild West can be a convenient solution if you can connect all your shots, but this resurrection comes at a great cost, and the cost is the round itself.
It's a meat grinder. You cannot afford to step in it just like that. But God's Green, they didn't have any other chance as well. But considering they were not really able to find any sort of impact in such sort of an open ground, OG, they're stepping out in the open, not even afraid of the opponent's firepower. And they're still able to rack up these kills. Look at these peek from them. Fearless.
Yeah, this deserves a Move Fearless title. Just like the Philips One Blade, OG sliced through their opponents effortlessly. But then again, this was an eco round from God's Range, so you can probably excuse this loss. But they can't afford to show up and fight OG like this, brawl away like it's the Wild Wild West once again. They need to be able to somehow cut open these crossfires that OG are holding. And now that the scores have been equalized, it's an appropriate time to use the tactical timeout.
I really want to know what this tactical timeout's going to be pulled out for. On attacking side, both these teams have struggled. And OG on defense, as I said, now they're looking like a well-oiled machine. They're able to find those kills. They're able to find those connections perfectly. Now even Aziz is starting to feel himself. Tesseract is on 21 kills. That's just immaculate. So OG overall, they're able to find that groove. That turret placed all the way towards the kitchen area, making sure no one's going to be able to sneak in. Somewhere down line, this change in the setup is definitely quite interesting.
Yeah, the turret is actually placed a bit too deep, so I don't really feel good about this one, especially when Autumn's trying to lurk up. At least he doesn't have a cloud burst, so he won't be able to cut off the turret's line of sight. If anyone wants to sneak by, it can't be him. RBK though, playing very aggressively, and that too in a very risky angle, ahead of his own teammate's alarm bot. Even Antidote has taken the page out of Hope's book. They've placed the alarm bot right over here. You can probably even see it on RBK's screen. So that basically tells you that OG don't intend on fighting B aggressively, but they still left him to jump peek around. Falls back at the right time as soon as the toxin screen has been activated. But
God's
OG have 3 players on A, where only Hoax is just keeping them over there. I hope OG can rotate back to the B side on time.
Oh, they probably will. You can already see the rotations coming in. Hoax is... You can see Hoax is on alert for the side of God's Green, so his job is to try and catch someone off guard from the mid, just like how Tesseract tried to. But let's see if that's going to be a successful way to get the opponent's player down or not. Definitely a huge question. Good combination of that Hunter's Fury and that Nano Swarm. Managed to find a kill. And as I said, Hoax will try to probably sleep one under the rug. And that's what he does, managing to sweep his opponent. And now we've got a 4-on-3 scenario. Good taps from this side of OG. They're really now starting to capitalize on their opponents. That lockdown is also going to nullify the effect off the Viper's Pit and AZ's. As I said, this man is now starting to feel himself. He's able to get those kills.
That was such a cool round. What a wonderful retake from OG. Just on the basis of their ultimates and utility placement, they get this round without even having to kill all their opponents. This combination is so deadly, you know, the Nanoswarm was activated late, and if somehow the Nanoswarm was avoided, you can't avoid the Hunter's Fury, so the Planter instantly dies. The lockdown nullifies the Viper's Pit, forces everybody back. And by the time God's Rain get into a position to stop the diffusers once again, you've already got Aziz with the Blade Storm slicing and dicing on top of yellow. It's perfect.
Ooh. Look at Aziz, he's pushed up so deep, just waiting for someone to push out. OG all the time, just trying to bring the variations in the pace, and somewhere down the line, God's Rain, they have been falling prey to that. Was a little encounter, but quite an awkward one. Wasn't able to find anyone.
Both the Killjoys just tossing Nanoswarms at each other. Trading utility, trading some bullets, but no kills found from either side.
Oh, this bait.
Yeah, Rafiel will have to set up Aziz for success, and it seems like he's done so just about right, but the timing window that Aziz has will be gone. Is he brave enough to continue committing to this angle without the dash back? Ah, no, he's gonna play it safe.
Yeah, God's Rain. For Autumn, he doesn't have any armor left because he definitely caught that hurt from Rafiel. So now they'll need to try and play things a little safe. Look at this crossfire. Look at the fire they've set up on the ace site. It's pretty much on a lockdown when it comes to the bullets, but
30 seconds
Before this time, it's going to be to find the first connection, and he manages to shut down the player as well. AZ is on top of the site, able to find one and get away with that. RVK as well falls down, some are down line, but now AZ is starting to activate himself once again. Antidote and AZ's, this combo, this duo is on the site, and Antidote gets spotted because of the recon dart. One more scan to go, and Antidote is pretty much trapped. They've got him in a deadlock, and they will execute him. A 1-on-2 scenario. AZ's position compromised, but this man has got the confidence off of God, and he will probably try to continue with that flow once again. Not a lot of HP, and well, he will be taken down.
God's Reign finally pushed through the defenses. They kicked the door down. This was quite a slow round from God's Reign. You know, usually they try to be a bit faster. Not the spike right away, but they took things step by step here. Aziz was a massive problem. And what do God's Reign do in return? They all stick together towards the right-hand side of 410. Instead of going elbow, they just try to kill anyone from OG who's playing from the other region, the elbow side. And that too by double, triple killing at once. So God's Reign sacrificed space in order to keep up the people.
Yeah.
And it works.
Ooh, Tesseract in close quarters, but this time Autumn, he spots him just a second earlier. AZ's with the op, and now will probably try to be a huge menace, just like the way Autumn was.
Whoa!
But the lockdown doesn't go down, and Hoax gets dealt with just before he did. AZ still with the op on that aggressive angle, doesn't even have his dash anymore primed up. And they know AZ's is now in a huge deadlock. They do not want to let this man slip away, but he still manages to. Uses both of his cloud burst while doing so.
And now God's Reign are trying to explore other options. They're trying to check if OG is already on the lurk, but OG this time have been actually quite reluctant to push up and try backstabbing God's Reign very early in the round, which is something that God's Reign can use. At least this gives them another option to rotate away. And they're reluctant to cross this mid-region. At least they're going to wait for the fuel of the Viper to get back up so that they can make the crossing safely.
30 seconds
Even
left.
though they don't need it, they continue moving towards 8. 20 seconds left. Ruffy just needs to slow them down, and he's the perfect agent to do so. As long as they can buy some time for the rest of the members of OG to come in, it will be great. And the Viper Spit also gets deployed over here, so this makes it nearly impossible for God's Reign to commit to this plant. They're still going to go for it. Planting towards the other side of the Radionite box, but OG still find all the kills. Sai has been locked away from the action. He kills RVK, so the Viper Spit has been dealt with, but Tix tries to pick up the pace. Sai now has to do everything on his own. Hunter's Fury available in case he wants to stop the defuse, but I think he's going to try to go for a gun pick first, and he will run straight into Aziz.
A perfect round. Nicely done. Pop that Viper's Pit at the last second too, catching the opponents off guard and not really giving them a lot of breathing space in that site. OG, they have managed to find that pace. They have managed to find the wind in the sails for themselves in the second half. And they're now probably going to start to run away with that as well. They have won quite a lot of back-to-back rounds, and that's now starting to be a huge momentum breaker for God's Reign, and might just start to break their mental as well.
God's Reign do have a lot of cool ultimates. They tried to use one of them in the previous round, but Hoax got shut down in such a comical fashion. I keep on saying that OG don't really go for those solo plays, but that was an exception where they just tried to kill Hoax before the lockdown is activated. This time though, OG playing it quite nice and safely. They're not going for any of those aggro peaks, which is very surprising. I'm starting to wonder when will those aggressive peaks from Aziz come through. He sometimes climbs up on pipes. He loves taking that position and going for the early fights. We even saw him trying to lurk towards jail once, but that didn't really result in any frags or any momentum shifts.
Aziz is playing on a quick rotation pace, so now he's going to start to rotate all the way towards the B side. You can see him. 4 players are already posted up, but Tesseract, he manages to find a huge advantage to his teammate, but Tix is going to be there with the resurrection. Fallen player back on his feet, but Aziz manages to find another one, so it's not really going to matter. God's Reign, once again, they're off to a man down, but God's Reign definitely a position that they can try to recover from. One man is posted up way too deep all the way in the back lines, and Tix manages to catch 2 players. We're down to an equalizer form where it's a 3-on-3 situation, but with the resurrection, it's going to get balled down to a 4-on-3 advantage in the hands of OG. The players are now going to start to approach, but Autumn in the close quarters. The Stinger's going to sting and strike the players down. It's a 2-on-3 now. Godsreen not really have the man advantage. The players in the front spotted out, but unfortunately the shots missed, and Psydream still capitalized this with the Hunter's Fury. The defense is being stuck. It's probably going to make it halfway, but it's not going to matter. Raw Fuel in the front brings in a lot of fuel to the fire.
And he's adding that petrol quite generously to the flame. He's gonna turn this into a wildfire of sorts. Sai felt desperate enough to put away his Hunter's Fury. He still had some beams left in it. And even though the first beam got him both the kills on Aziz as well as RVK, he didn't use the rest. And Raw Fuel uses that exact decision to his detriment. OG get 11. And with this, God's Reign have the most inopportune economic meltdown at the worst time possible. Oh, but they're trying something new. A very fast mid-ball. We haven't seen this from them yet. But that exploit can't be used. They can't use the mid-ball to cross over towards Oranges quickly enough. And now that the Sage has been spotted in the back by the drone, it kind of tells you that God's Reign were only using that ball as a bait. OG tried to go back to their default positions. Will they be able to reach in time? Sai instantly shot down. Raw Fuel has them both challenging at the same time. Tesseract follows up. He's alone on this side of the map. His backup's still far away, but he doesn't need backup. He is the man who will repel the invaders. Spike dropped in no man's land. Tix has a nearly impossible recovery mission, but Tesseract will discover him first.
Yeah, that was a big change of the pace, right? They tried to go for the A side quite quick enough, and unfortunately, considering they didn't really have the superior weaponry, so they fell down. But OG, they're really gonna have huge smirks on their faces. You can see even the crowd's now starting to light up because they know they're gonna start to run away with a match point soon enough here.
Oh, I think they're already at that point. This has been a successful comeback from OG.
Stay safe.
Trailing 4-8 and now leading 12-9. If they can finish this round here and now, they can avoid God's Reign catching momentum once again. Hunter's Fury thrown out. It's trying to clear out all the orange positions, but okay, nobody found. Even Aziz can't find anyone, but at least RVK is here for the trade. They've dealt with the danger man, but this time Hoax catches the flank. OG haven't really gone for these aggressive flanks yet, but the moment Antidote tries to attempt it for the first time, Hoax catches him.
Yeah, it's a race to the A side from both the sides, but this time, God's Reign, their speed is just gonna fall short off. Not really able to make it quickly to the A side, but there are already 2 players trained up and posted. Now even the third man's going to make his way, and that's going to be in the name of Tesseract. RVK posted up behind this wall. The first man gets scanned. That's a really good one. And Rawfield finds him through the toxin screen. Tesseract on the top inside Nest. They know every single player of God's Reign is in the front, so all they need to do is just play this one with discipline and with some quietness, and that's what they do. But eventually they start giving out those one-on-one peaks, and that's where things start to fall apart. Scan goes off, and the last man spotted as well. And God's Reign, they finally managed to find a breaker for OG.
This is starting to become a pattern. Every time God's Reign drop the pace, they pick up the kills. This is good, because you see how disciplined God's Reign were in this round. Yes, the early flank caught by Hoax gave them an advantage of sorts, but the moment it turned into a 3v3 brawl on the A side, God's Reign played nice and passively. They all peek out of the elbow side to kill anyone who's playing on tower. Then they burn Raw Fuel away. They use the nanoswarms to flush him out, and all the guns are pointed towards him. And in the end, the reveal with the recon dot was amazing. But as good as God's Reign are at getting those picks towards the A side, they can't deal with this op in the hands of Aziz. He's the #1 player in the tournament for a reason.
Dude, there's like 4 players on the B side, and all of them were just stacked on the B main. They were ready to counter that push. They were completely ready with that resistance if the opponents try to brute force their way in. But Godsreen now, considering the operator managed to strike one player down, they've been stopped in the tracks for now. They're waiting for any sort of overextensions from OG, but this time they're not going to fall for that trap anymore. And they start to make their way back to the B side, but no. Quite an indecisive nature from Godsreen. They're not really able to decide where exactly they want to hit towards.
If they do go towards the A side, it will be conducive for them. OG have left the A side only on the basis of the KJ utility. An alarm bot towards the planting region. As soon as it gets triggered, nanoswarms will be activated to delay the plant. But OG are heavily marking mid. They were fully expecting Godsreen to exploit it further. They didn't ever exploit mid up until now, and they thought finally in the last round Godsreen might try it. And as soon as OG get a hint of Godsreen trying to plant the spike, they use the lockdown. Unfortunately, they tank the damage and go for the plant regardless, and now the flank has been dealt with. RBK dead. Tesseract, he catches them again. The lockdown finally pays off dividends, and Tesseract is killing everybody. OG slay their opponents and press mouse 1 to win.
First map in the hands of OG. Continuing that undefeated streak. And keep this thing in mind, ladies and gentlemen. OG, they haven't even dropped a single series so far from the group stage till the playoffs. And now in the grand finals, they've managed to get the first win secured. It's a BF5 series, but 2 more to go for OG to try and seal the deal inside this grand finals. While on the other hand, now Godsreen, they will fight for the survival. Definitely, they're quite disappointed with the performance they showcased in the map of Icebox, but now the upcoming map of Haven is going to be their pick, where they should have a solid advantage. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Came for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the wins, I get it in.
I know my destiny. 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 I know my destiny.
relatively unknown underdog to being on the big stage like the Challenger League, it's a massive opportunity given to a player, and he delivered very consistently. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I would gladly like to welcome our YouTube audience back in the arena. It's been a phenomenal game so far, and it's gonna be an even bigger banger once we head into Haven.
Exactly, as we do move on forward towards the Agent Select, and pretty much a mirror map of matchup. Only the change we're seeing is that RBK is going to go ahead and lock in that Astra, and then Tix is going to go ahead and play with that Omen. To be honest, I mean, Astra is quite a fantastic controller, but I prefer Omen more, you know, to be honest. And taking a look aside too, is going to go ahead and play the role of go ahead and play the role of Sova. As you mentioned, yeah, even Sky is over there. So from the side of Aziz, even that's a little bit of change. So interesting changes, right, from both the sides. But overall, the core of how these guys are going to play it out, the composition is pretty much going to be the same.
Yeah, I mean, the roles will be very similar, but I am still questioning the Sky a little bit. This kind of means that OG will have significantly lesser execution power. The Breach is far more deadly when it comes to hitting a site with brute force. But now that they've got a secondary info gathering initiator, OG will use their mid-round adjustments to their max. God's Reign might have been expecting them to bring a very execute-heavy lineup to the table, but this little adjustment from OG might throw God's Reign off guard. Keep in mind that God's Reign are the kind of team that excels in reading mid-rounds, so OG will have to really surprise them with this composition.
I mean, OG, they've got a lot of info revealing agents, right? I mean, especially those two, Sova and Sky. These two agents are definitely going to help them out quite a lot, finding those individual info. So let's see how they're going to be utilizing that in the defending side. Definitely this composition should help them out quite a lot in the defending too. So let's find out how they're going to be utilizing it. Hand Hoax on the Breach. He needs to put up a lot of impact with the utility utilization. So let's hope that he's going to be able to keep up. Rafiel, quite an interesting position. I guess they're expecting a B takeover here. Both these players are playing quite laid back, playing pushed back. And yeah, God's Reign, that's what they're exactly going to happen. They might just start falling in the trap, and as soon as that happens, Aziz manages to find a quick tap on the enemy player and will instantly fall back as well. Already starting off with a man deficit. Not a good news for God's Reign.
What a read from OG, stacking up the B-side and garage. Immediately, they've left A completely vacant. Not even Killjoy utilities present over there. But Vibor finally gets the kill onto RBK, and that's going to trigger the rotation from OG. You can look at where Aziz is. He's already pushing out of Dross. He's most likely going to try and go for a backstab. And if he isn't deep enough, the turret won't detect him, so he can actually get a couple of kills over here. Will they check?
Yep.
Buried. One
It's going to be a
enemy
basic angle.
No way!
What was that 4K?
remaining. I can be
They
so
peek out
And
and start
Ace.
lining up, and AZ's all he does is just tap it away. And AZ's with an ace. So calm, so cool, so collected, and the crowd goes crazy. They go wild. Even they're shocked with that
Oh
type of a
my
play.
Lord.
This man is now possessed by a demon.
One enemy remaining.
No, not possessed by demon. He is Satan himself. Hellfire and destruction channeled into the skulls of his enemies. The first frag that he took on the B side was expected. That was normal. But the position that he took up next was a one and done position. You're supposed to be able to just get one frag and get instantly traded out. The only other people who were there to help him out was still towards the mouth of B. So this was technically Aziz going for a suicide play. No backup, only his own ability to frag out. And my God, what a bold way to start this round. I, for one, did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Cool, calm, and composed, and he turns all of his enemies into coffins.
Dude, I mean, welcome to the OG powerhouse, man. What can you say? And we literally talked about this too. OG are always going to have those players just with their chest wide open, just peeking out because they're so trusting in their own firepower. And AZ's this time, even though he's not even playing that duelist role, just pushing out with the Sky and giving his team a huge advantage right off the bat. And this will also give them a huge advantage considering now they've also managed to get so many points on that Seekers.
Yeah, like one more round and he's gonna have his Seekers confirmed for sure. Jesus, that ace was so good. One of the members in the crowd fell to the floor. I can understand, man. Moves like these make me weak in my knees as well. So I completely get it. A static shock delivered to his enemies that electrified them to the core, man. Aziz painting the wall with the skull and blood of his enemies. Red matter sprayed across those walls, and that is just so clean. I want a replay. I want a replay
Dude,
right now.
you know what I want? I want the aim routine of OG players. Please, guys, aim routine.
I don't think
please.
they'll give
I'm
it
willing
away.
to play. I'm willing to pay anything.
Silence.
I mean, I'm broke, but if you guys, please, just hit me up, man. I want to know the aim routine, bro. How are you guys so consistent in every single match? They're just so trusting in their firepower, but this time, it's Godsreen who are going to peek out in their crosshairs and still managing to win those duels somehow. They went for a force spy. Let's see how good of a decision this was.
And that is quite rare, Godsreen aren't the kind of team that force buy very often. Them and True Rippers, you don't see these two teams force buying all that much. Teams like ASTER Army and Velocity now, they are the ones who almost always force buy. But this is a rare moment from Godsreen. So now you know, because they're deviating from their standard playstyle, you can tell they are feeling the pressure. A 1-for-1 trade already available. In this 4v4 scenario, the odds often favor the attackers because they can always group up towards one side and hit it with brute force, but the defenders, they have to spread their defenses thin. But still, OG they've got the positions, a triple stack available, and Rafuel already starts things off. Spike dropped in a very awkward spot, and the paranoia doesn't hit Rafuel, so he can continue to frag away.
Rafuel, that little repositioning trick that he used, mind games, just playing with his opponents. Godsreen thought that Rafuel dashed away from that spot, but no, he just kept himself tucked right there. He fell back to that, and then another round secured by OG. All that force spy that was being made happen from the side of Godsreen, it's all down in the drain, and now they're going to be resetting back to the Sheriffs in the hand. This gives a huge advantage to OG, considering now they will also have a chance to win their bonus round.
Spike, 30 seconds left.
Yeah. The force buy thwarted. OG not only get a massive advantage in terms of numbers, but also in terms of economy. This is one of those rare rounds where OG can continue playing the bonus, but their opponents don't have any weaponry to show. Oh, at least they have the aim. Oh, them dispatches RBK out of the server instantly.
Speak about a dispatch, and Antidote is there to return the favor. 4-on-4 situation, Godsreen, they don't even have the superior weaponry with only Sheriffs in the hand, but OG, they're really stubborn. They're still starting to push out of their sweet spots. They're starting to push out of their comfort zones. Hey, I mean, you hear in one of those motivational videos, right? It's good to push out your comfort zone. Get out of it! And so far, it's been working out for OG. They're challenging opponents in their own comfort zone and still somehow able to win those duels, able to come out on top. But now, there's a huge change in the pace where we're not even seeing any sort of foot kills given away. Pin drop silence, but this Trailblazer is going to be able to spot out a decent amount of players.
A very quick flank by Tesseract. There's no KJ Util to spot this. He might just get another flurry of frags. And when the body starts to hit the floor,
One enemy
Antidote
remaining.
picks it up on the other side to help out what Tesseract started. And Rafuel will end it.
Absolutely cruel. But you see how OG played that off so well? As soon as Tesseract got taken down, Antidote peeked out of garage. So the call were being given away. Even OG, the radar refragging is exactly on the point. Perfectly played, good reads on your opponents. But those aggressive plays are now really starting to play with Godsreen's mind. They're not really able to realize where they're going to get pushed from and what time.
Use that.
Scanning ahead.
Godsrain finally out of the weaponry they need, and they need to make it count. Rafuel, though, he just doesn't want to give them a break. So many players revealed by that recon dart. At least the opening frags go in the favor of Godsrain. 2 picks already acquired. Even Tesseract can't deal with the wide swing. Antidote crumbles under the pressure. And finally, Godsrain have a sign of life.
I mean, look at it. 2 players are softened up quite low. This clutch is pullable. If RBK is able to isolate the duel somehow, he will need to try and embody Psy.
Spike planted.
He'll need to become him. Is he him? Or no? We'll be able to find out. But Godsreen for now, They're posted up quite aggressive, especially Tix. Look at this man. He's just waiting for the
With concealment.
for RVK to funnel out of smoke.
Covering it.
Smokes out. Some fakes as well is there, but Tix is in an aggressive angle, in an angle that he's not expected. In God's Ring, they get away with a round in their hands. Could be a momentum breaker, but still not just yet, because they have got a lot of money. And what Shivanchi's wearing God's Ring jersey? I didn't know they're giving away free jerseys, man.
Yeah, now you really want to be in the arena yourself, don't you?
Hey, I want one too, bro. I mean, I know my size is big, but please.
Hey, we don't do self-depreciating humor over here.
I mean, why not?
Okay, I mean, be my guest. I don't really care about that. But look at the KJ Udall setup over here. The alarm bot and nanoswarm towards the B side keeps them away. But Rocky once again just adamant on playing this aggressively. Spots out Alden's gun battle and then he takes his head apart. But Tix retaliates with force. A nice double kill. Rocky offers the fight once again. But this time Aziz falls. Okay then. All these aggro plays by OG are kind of backfiring.
Yeah, I mean, Tick's able to step up huge. He's sort of the hero for God's Ring so far, but look at the amount of HP that's been taken away from their side too. Sai is quite low. Even Tix doesn't have a lot of HP to support him. Only 6 HP left over. So as I said, once again, this retake is definitely possible if God's Ring do manage to get a site control. But look at this anchor, Antidote with an operator, just posted up on the C site. But God's Ring will have no clue that Antidote's going to be the man on the op. Usually they'll expect the Jet to be on the op.
Yeah.
And now Antidote with the op is definitely going to bring in a huge surprise factor. They peek out. He gets one. That's a massive one as well. Even though it's chipped away quite a lot, it's still not going to matter. That swamp grenade is exactly on the point. Poke's way too low for comfort. Turret in the clotheslines. Still having only 21 HP to back him up. He gets another one, but he will not be able to escape. Size quite low. Rawfield should be able to isolate these duels and also seal the deal. Let's find out if that's going to happen or not. But look at Vapor. He's trying to place him off angles. Is Rawfield going to expect him inside garage? Maybe he will, but no.
He used the cloud burst quite well. He wanted to throw the first cloud burst to fake that he's going to dash over there, but I mean, the dash wasn't available, so he then used the second one to cover the logs area and hopefully clear out the closer regions and backside first. Didn't expect someone to be in garage this quickly. But yeah, Antidote, I have to appreciate, it takes nerves of steel to go for that second repeat. Especially after the utility that God's Ring threw at him, the recon as well as the fault line just kind of pushed him back for a second. He goes back for the frags. That is absolutely nuts. If that flash from hooks wasn't available, then he probably could have made it back to safety as well. Oh, wait, what? Wait, Tesseract going for a blind belt right off the start? The only player who I've seen do this is Kohli. I don't think I've seen Tesseract do these kind of blind belts before.
Yeah, but that ult allowed OG to go aggressive from A main. So still, I mean, it's quite useful. That was more kind of like a random recon ult, just to find out if there's going to be some players posted up in the backlines or not. And OG, they still managed to find that kill in the hand. That's a huge one, considering now they're down to a 4-on-4. Rolling Thunder Houston, it's not really going to find a lot of value considering OG, they were quite far away. Over here inside this round, OG's main motive is just to deal damage. They're not here to win the round.
Yeah, but they would definitely love to. They're coming in from all the sides. They've given away the C-long position in favor of Garage and CT instead. And the frags are coming. Unfortunately, the time has ticked away for a bit too long. So now they'll just give away their lives to the spike. Hopefully not to the guns of God's Reign. And yeah, just carry these weapons forward. Tesseract yoinks a Vandal away. So that's also quite nice.
Nicely
yeah,
done.
I have to admit that ult that Tesseract used, it surprised me quite a lot. Usually OG don't do this kind of stuff, firing ults blindly. But you're right, it allows OG to take A lobby control quite aggressively. They were hoping that if God's Reign are playing their default, it would give them the win quite instantaneously. And OG have been very adamant on fighting A lobby up until now. I'm guessing that's kind of a conditioning attempt. Play relentlessly and aggressively towards A every now and then change up their approach. That's exactly what they're looking at. RBK gets one through the smoke, and it's looking rough.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, able to get away with that kill. That's a massive one. Man advantage given to your team. It's in the front lines. It's the alarm bot. Position detected. Presence known. God's Reign Inside this round, things are not working out for them. But at least now they're able to bait out that alarm bot, right? But you do see instant recovery from OG. They've placed it up some Astral Stars. Smoke outside B, but Godsreen, they're right on the other side of that smoke, looking to burst in at any second. All the 4 players are just stacked up right then and there. On the other hand, OG, they've got 2 players posted up on the A side. They don't exactly know what the game plan is. Godsreen definitely trying to hit them with a little bit of variety. But is this variety enough to catch him off guard? Probably no. RVK able to slip away with another kill, but unfortunately hands are busy. And now they're also going to start to extend all the way towards the back lines. Recon dart initiated, but nothing being found. And Sai somehow connects the shot through the
30
smoke.
seconds left.
And now they're starting to fall back to the A side, but
No
Tesseract
way.
is waiting for them. And he's going to let them funnel in his crosshair. Finds a 2K, 1 more to go. Recon darts on the point. We'll try to play this one
Perfect.
disciplined, but what a quick shot. And OG, perfection personified. What a way to counter that strat.
Tesseract knew for a fact that these guys are gonna hit the A-link. As soon as the lockdown was placed, the trap was set. The lockdown was placed simply to funnel Godsring towards the A-link, where Tesseract was waiting, anticipating, and look at these shots. They are absolutely nuts. Picture perfect.
Bro, Tesseract and AZs, these 2 imports. Boy, oh boy. Have they lost a lot of duels? The answer is no. I really want to take a look. If there's a way to take a look at the individual duel win percentage, I would really love to take a look at that, especially for AZs and Tesseract. These 2 guys are demons. They rarely lose any encounters.
Yeah, that is true. And when you put an unstoppable force up against an immovable object like that, I wonder what's gonna happen. Finally, Godsrain forced to take a timeout, forced to respect the firepower that Orangutan brings to the table. The lockdown being placed, it has its repercussions. There's only 2 ways that Godsrain can respond to that. You either rush C-Link and try to break the lockdown instantly, which OG were prepared for, or you try to hit the A-Link, where the defenses weren't as strong, but why do you need stronger defenses? Why do you need more men when Tesseract can do the job of 3?
Standing ahead.
This is a
Ooh,
fast
quick
one.
rush. Yeah, I told you, man. Even Godsreen, they're really now trying to bring some variety inside the game, and that's also starting to catch OG off guard. Tesseract and AZs, they try to go for those aggressive peaks, and we were just having a huge conversation about the individual dual win rate. But this time, both of them lose that. Maybe it was a little bit of caster curse, but let's see what. And Rawfield's able to establish over here. He's got the operator in the hand, but he's also in the radius of that lockdown. But no, he barely finds a little angle where he can squeeze himself in and not be detected by it. Nanoswarm's used. Even Flash is trying used as well, and Rawfield will probably now start to fall back. But no,
What?
He whips that shot, and Hoax, he somehow luckily jumps up.
Yeah, like a Mario jump over the off shot. That was really cool. He gets legged
Spike
instead,
planted.
but at least he's alive. 2v5 on the cards. The captain antidote might funnel the numbers down, might strike down a player or 2, but this round is looking done and dusted. Retake's nearly impossible, so OG will hold on to their weapons. Unless Godsrain go in for the hunt. I don't think they can afford
Yeah.
to. They don't have the economy and the backing to do so.
Yeah, no, they're not.
But yeah, but then again, OG are also starting to run out of that economy. At one point, they were snowballing out of control. They still have some money left, you know. Rawfield on 4,000
Yeah.
credits, everyone else on somewhere around 2,000 mark. So they can afford to purchase
perhaps.
weapons once again. But that's it, just once more.
You know what is the upcoming strategy for Godsreen? They're going to hit the A side once again, but this time Tix is going to ult on top of the Haven. Just like that classic strat, considering he's the only one who's got some useful ult to help them take the map control quick enough. I think so that's the strat we're probably going to be seeing. But before that, maybe Godsreen will try to condition them. We'll try to probably show some presence all over the map. But I think so. I highly think so that we're probably going to be seeing another A take.
I guess, yeah. I mean, in the first 4 or 5 rounds, OG were adamant, borderline stubborn on fighting towards the A site. Not forgive me, I said A site. More like A lobby. Because they were sending 2 or 3 people down sewers every now and then. They would still have someone fight towards A long and try to crunch the lobby area at the same time. So OG were doing that really well. And you even saw that blind Hunter's Fury from Tesseract, which kind of enabled them to push that attack even further in. So I guess that was just OG trying to condition their opponents into believing that they are very stubborn towards A. But then again, God's Reign are not falling for those kind of tricks, right? If OG want to fight, God's Reign are not going to back away from it. Even God's Reign have been quite adamant on getting these picks. They don't mind dropping the pace every now and then, but they still go towards A despite them knowing it could be a stack. So now after this tactical timeout, let's see if OG change up that approach, if they try to reinforce any of the other sites more.
Turret out.
Up in the hands. And this time probably Rafael will try to go aggressive. He should actually. Because so far, that's the only way to try and counter. Whenever OG, they've tried to play a little bit laid back, especially even in that previous round, they have sort of faltered out. C site is going to be the take this time. No, they're not going to opt out for the A side anymore. Instead, once again, trying to bring in a little bit of variety. They've actually managed to find a quick stroll on the C side instead. And God's Reign, as long as things are working out, hey, you might as well try to take the site control in the hand. Tix is able to find those connections clearly enough, and he will keep on pressuring down the opponents. But this time, it's RVK to strike back, and OG, they get the site control back in their hands. Able to claw back in, and now it's all down to Vabor and Sai.
Dude, OG, they were so adamant on defending C, and it all comes down to Tix not placing a smoke towards the defender spawn entrance. OG, they were very insistent on going there. But now this alarm bot's been deactivated, so Goldson can actually move into the B side without being discovered. Alright, let's see what they try to cook up. Are they going to continue planting here, or will they move towards one of the other sides? If they go towards C, that also would be ideal. There's no resistance. But God's Reign don't know that, so they're going to take their sweet time, clear out all these angles, and then make a move. It was so funny, you know, because God's Reign used the Hunter's Fury, then also used the fault line and flashes to kill anyone from OG who was playing towards the defender spawn entrance. And Tesseract continued fighting over there. Because there's no smoke in CT, OG are able to get all the trades and boil it to a 3v3. I'm sorry, a 2v2. But now with more, he's spotted as he's feeling himself. It's all up to Sai. Rafael with the op in such a narrow angle kind of makes it difficult. But now he's given away sound cues, dashes into the smoke. He tries to jiggle across and scurry back to the C site. Sai very far away from the action, but he will have to call Rafael's bluff. He doesn't. He knows that Rafael is not going to stick this. And the poker faces are on. Rafael once again goes in for the challenge, but this time Sai's prepared. He's always there in these clutches.
Oh my god. Interesting. Sai once again comes up huge with that clutch. Deactivating his opponents. Nicely done. Exactly what we were looking for in that scenario, but I really like the play from Sai. And to be honest, just trusting his intuitions that Rafael's not going to be going ahead and sticking that defuse. That's a big move and a bold move. But I guess this is what happens when you know the opponent's on a personal level.
Yes, it's another bold ultimate from Tesseract. No information, no recon use, just the laser beams coming at you. I'm not that big of a fan of these kind of ults. It doesn't really find value, but hey, at least it lets OG take A lobby control on paper. That's what they did last time. They used the same ultimate and just burst out of a shot. But this time they don't do that. So they're hoping to fool God's Reign into thinking that OG have a heavy stack towards the A site, whereas that isn't the case at all.
Oh, once again, OG, they're really giving out these individual duels. And it's not working out in their favor. They need to stop going aggressive now, I guess. Maybe they can't position themselves in those aggressive angles, but peeking out and open like that aggressively is definitely something they need to stop doing. 3 players only left over, from which one of those is the KJ, which is the name of Antidote. He has been playing on the C side so far, and even now he will start to make his way on the A. God's Reign, look at how patiently they're playing this one. A huge change in the pace this time. The previous round was quite a quick one on the
30
seat,
seconds
but this
left.
one is such a slow take from them. They're taking their sweet little time, and also they've utilized the Omen's ult from the shadow. The sights cleared out as well. They know where exactly their defenders are positioned, but still Antidote was able to get away with one.
Clean from God's Rain. OG tried to bamboozle their enemies really well, and you can now start to see how the conditioning works, right? The first time that Tesseract used his ult, OG followed up with a lot of A aggression from short as well as long. This time there was no aggression at all, which kind of made God's Rain take a step back and wonder if this really is an aggro round from OG, or are they just gonna hold their defenses? And God's Rain knew that they were on an eco, so OG are experimentative on these eco rounds. God's Rain didn't want to run into a stack. That's why they took their sweet time to discover where OG would be. I mean, they did walk into a 3-stack on the A side later on, but with the superior numbers, they were fine. This time it's going to be a fast one towards C. Rolling Thunder, as well as all the other util. Sai is using his blind ult just for safe measure. Can he tag anyone? Yeah, just about did it, but no cigar.
Yeah, Rafael had his dash primed up, so he was able to just dash away from the RO results. But look at these picks now, AZs! Once again, he tastes the blood on the retake. Now is going to start to follow it up with his teammates. Good flash and peek, but both of those players in the front are going to deny the flash by turning around. The effect wasn't exactly there to its fullest potential, and now it's a 2-on-2. One of the players from the side of OG as well soften up, and OG, they don't exactly know where the rest of the two defenders are positioned. RVK gonna go for a smoke defuse soon enough. Antidote is way too low for Antidote to try and be a human shield. It's going to be next to impossible. The time's taken away, and OG, they know winning this round is going to be next to impossible, but still, yeah, that was quite a good shot from Antidote.
Oh, he almost got away with the gun at least, but he dies to the spike. Just on the edge of that spike radius. These chants are amazing. Well, you have to appreciate this crowd. I mean, they are so energetic. Very deserving for a grand final like this. God's Rain there. They took a really big risk hitting C like that. Of course, they were very thorough in their approach. They used the Rolling Thunder, even the Hunter's Fury, all the util placed properly. And unlike last time where Tix left the defender spawn entrance vacant, he placed a smoke over there this time. So all those adjustments are there. But how much can you adjust when Aurum is staring down at you, fearing at you with his big gun? Tesseract brave enough to go for the fight once more, but he will be sent back by the drone.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that OG, they're starting to get desperate for these picks. And as I said, right? They should not do that. They should, if they really do want to go aggressive, be aggressive in a controlled manner. Just a little touch of aggression should be good enough to try and catch God's Rain off guard. But now just peeking out individually without even having any sort of backup, no flashes to try and back you up with that peek. Just stride peeks out there. It's always going to catch you off guard, and that's what is sort of working out in the favor of God's Rain. They're always being given away these kills, and that's why you see them initially going towards the A side. And as soon as they find some impact over there, they start to rotate towards the opposite side, and that's what exactly is going to happen once again.
Yeah, I mean, OG conditioned God's Rain into those fast executes so much that displaying that default is holding slowly every single round, and they're able to find value out of it all the time. This time the flashes are thrown towards the long side, so instead of clearing back side, God's Rain know that OG never like playing over there. They might as well focus all their attention towards Garage, and this time the utility is perfectly countered. God's Rain also were aware that OG will try to fight them before the spike is even planted, and that's exactly why they made these adjustments. Very well played, very well read by God's Rain.
Oh my god. Alright, I'm loving the crowd. I'm loving the crowd. But, man, Crips, I mean, speaking about that and overall how this entire affair is going in the first half, it's quite incredible. Pretty much it seems like the similar stuff that happened in the previous map as well. In the first half, it was the same thing, 8-4 half. And once again, we're off to an 8-4 half where now OG will be pushed up on the attacking side. Haven is considered as an attacking sided map, so OG, they should definitely have some catching up to do, but it's not impossible because they've done it once in the past on the map of Icebox. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Came for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
Presenting Hyundai i20N line. It's time to play.
Came for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. After that short break into the second half for OG, now are going to be pushed to the attacking side, and they will probably try to amp up the heat. Let's see how much of the heat is now going to be amped up and to what level. That's what we're here to find out.
You can see the adjustments and the reads from God's Reign very early on in that last round. Usually they focus their attention towards the back of C side, but in the last round they didn't do any of that. They threw all the flashes towards logs and CT instead because they know that OG will try to fight them before the spike even gets planted. And that just proves that God's Reign is the kind of team that can get the read onto you very easily. So OG better have a couple of cards under their sleeve, better have some tricks over there too. And keep changing those, because if they don't, then God's Reign will just be setting up traps for them again and again. This time at least, OG are able to get the A side without any consequences. But can they hold on to it though?
Blocking sight.
Question. That's what I'm wondering too. A quick dash on the site. Easy's able to get away with one. And now OG, they're just starting to run away with a lot of murders. And yeah, once again, a quick one. They just sweep every single player under the rug. And OG able to get away. Another clean pistol round in the hands. We need some hype from OG, man. Finally. There we go.
OG love peeking out of these smokes, don't they? I mean, you saw the defensive setup over there first. They have only a crossfire between Rockfuel and Aziz, that too towards default-ish, right? Nobody was playing Hell, nobody was playing Graffiti as such. Most of the other players of OG already repositioned towards sewers. And then when God's Reign plays a smoke over there, all of those sewers players disrespect the smoke, peek out, and all of a sudden God's Reign have to fight all 5 players at once instead of being able to isolate these duels on the basis of smokes. And we saw this pattern even in the first half, where every time God's Reign were hitting the C site, OG would just peek out of the defender spawn smokes, even out of garage smokes, to deny the spike plant every now and then. So this pattern is being recognized by God's Reign, and they're doing steps. They're actively taking steps to prevent that very move. But OG continue doing it regardless. Now that God's Reign have this information, what do they do with it?
Nothing. There's 4 players on the A site.
Right here.
And for OG, this is going to be an easy C take, without a doubt. Well, Boar's only got a classic in the hand. For how long he's going to be able to resist the control? Sounds next to impossible indeed. He was able to get away with one, though. Still, that's quite impressive. And an unfortunate moment. Unfortunate circumstance for the opponents. Tick's able to find 1, 2. Not a good news for OG. The players are starting to fall down like pawns. And something needs to be done. They need to claw their way back inside this round once again. AZ's is quite softened up, so you cannot go for those aggressive peaks anymore. One single bullet from Sheriff will seal the deal. Side Dreams with a shorty in the hand. For him to try and capitalize on the opponents, it's going to be quite a tough job, but both these players will now need to slowly and steadily peek out. Soon enough,
Nice.
Tix! He finds the second one. He's bringing in a lot of impact for his team. And now OG, they start to funnel every single player inside the lobby. And Tesseract with an ace.
Aces upon aces. We saw the first one from Aziz, then another one from Tesseract. These 5 pieces from OG are so frequent, it's almost become an expectation that there will be at least 1 ace in every single game. But then OG defied these very expectations that they set by giving us 2. They find their groove. They catch God's Reign limping. And now they're going all in, pushing all the chips to the center of the table. OG start off the round in a very good way. I mean, start off the half in a very good way. And now God's Reign have to somehow recover. Can they discover that OG has already taken Garage? It's quite a fast one. Before revealed, he's being sucked in by the gravity well, so now he can get pre-fired. I'm surprised he's still alive, even though the pre-fires come in now a little later than expected. But Hope doesn't have any util to fight off
my
of.
God.
He's devoured by 3 players peeking him at the same time. Vivorin takes trying to find something over here, but the firepower of OG is just too much to handle.
Yeah, these guys are peeking out right off of each other, just
Spike
bouncing the opponents. And even the opponents don't exactly know how to capitalize on the amount of firepower, the amount of bullets that are being inflicted onto them. The shrapnel is now going to start to shred through the opponents. As Godsreen, they started to traverse on the site, slowly and steadily making their way in. The bullets are also going to penetrate the opponent's flesh, but that's not going to be enough. Raw Fuel in the close quarters will also pop out the Blade Storm just to get a little bit of extra bit of advantage, but it's not going to work out. Autumn, he connects that headshot. That crucial one to stop the momentum in the second half of OG. And Godsreen getting a crucial point off the map in the hand.
Yeah, this will definitely keep OG in check. They were running rampant with these takes. The firepower was borderline overwhelming, but Autumn finds it within himself to piece the clutch together. That too against a giant like Raw Fuel. Nerves must have been on edge throughout that entire retake situation, but Godsreen finally make it work. And I must say that OG are damn impressive in these retake situations. You know, they don't let Godsreen get even an inch of the site. They know if Godsreen get an inch, they will take a metric mile off of you. Oh. Could have been a disaster, but Autumn doesn't overextend. Now he's regrouped along with Sai, and both of them are trying to take control of sewers once again. The Trailblazer will clear things
Scout
out.
destroyed.
No, it doesn't.
They don't know.
Yeah, Tix breaks the Trailblazer. Side goes undiscovered.
Yeah, position and compromised, and Sai knows exactly that. Once again, they're going to send in the recon drone. And I like this option being used by them. Now Sai's unknown. They know that there's 2 players at least towards the site, whereas that one of them is going to be towards the short area. They do start to make towards the site. They're also going to find a lot of kills. AZ's with a 4K! With only 21 left HP in his hands. He's still trying to put a lot of impact on the board, and also trying to get the ace secured for him.
Sneaking in, and there you have it. That's all that she wrote for Webhole. That smoke that was placed towards the backside kind of blew up in the face of Godsreen now, didn't it? They thought that using the smoke would be great for them, because they would then try to do something that OG have been doing on their defensive side. That is basically flood into the site before the spike even gets planted. This isn't a smoke that you normally see, you know? You wouldn't always see this backside smoke. Sometimes the defenders will place a smoke between a short and the default box. That's something that funnels all the attackers in towards the right-hand side of the site. But in this one, it just basically lets the it lets the defenders flood into the site without getting shot by the crossfire. And that's what Godsreen tried to make happen. They tried to kickstart this retake before the time is appropriate. But what does Aziz do? He just sprays them down. All these moves don't fall to him at all.
I mean, he's just a sweeper right there, just cleaning up anyone that stands in his way. We thought that short play could have worked out really phenomenally, but later on, as soon as Sai got spotted, they knew that there's at least 2 or 3 players on the site. But Tix, that right click with the classic, is definitely going to hurt Tesseract quite a bit. But now OG, they found themselves a free stroll on the A side. Perfectly played the opponent. We're not really able to recognize the mind games that OG are bringing to the table now. As they get their hands on the A site, Godsreen, they've got no other option than to let it slide away. There is a Blade Storm available in the hands of Autumn. Now all eyes on this man. He needs to be the playmaker. He needs to be the star player inside this round. How much of an impact he's able to find, that's all that's going to come down to. He manages to get 1 so far. Might be able to get the second one as well, but he's way too low. And Raw Fuel, he's going to play it off perfectly with his teammate. Manages to get a 3K, and now it's all down to just a 2-on-2 scenario.
Oh no, the smoke doesn't properly cover the spike. Before can get shot down, he's not willing to take a chance and stick over there. And while he's hesitating, his teammates will all get executed. Godsreen, hold on. This was just a very good attempt from them. I mean, the fact that they are able to find that weapon in the hands of Tix was good enough. But what do they know, man? These guys are still gonna get the kills regardless. OG are very, very comfortable in these retake situations, and they're so dynamic too. The last time, not the last time, I guess in the pistol round, we saw God's Reign try to smoke off the sewers region and the A-long region. What did OG do? They disrespect the smokes and they played ahead of it. But this time they held back because the smokes were not safe. They can continue holding the far angles. And this reused doesn't give God's Reign all that much, but OG respond by taking the beast side very quickly.
Oh, Vapor!
B.
That spray transfer is going to be on the point as he finds 2 kills, and not just normal kills. Those are some impactful kills considering the spikes dropped on the site. OG, they need to get the spike no matter what. Is Tesseract actually going to go for it? Yeah, that's what it seems like it. He will try to get the spike in hand, but no, instead they drop another body. Antidote caught fading away. Not able to escape from that death trap as he falls down in his grave. And now it's all down to RVK. A quick flick on the man, but that's all he's going to find. Vapor, a heroic playmaker for his team.
Yeah, and that was such a bold move on his part too. If Vapor died over there, OG would have been able to break the lockdown without any difficulty whatsoever. He placed it, and then he's like, yep, my job here is done. I don't have any more util left. I'm just a guy with a gun, so I might as well try to have some fun with it. And he has way too much fun, spraying everybody down in that situation, denying the spike plant for OG. OG also were quite confident, you know. They were hoping that they can beat the timing. They were hoping they would be able to plant that spike and then back away before the lockdown gets triggered. But no, Vapor is like, I'm not gonna let you do that. I see through your tricks and I call your bluff.
A timeout from OG. God's Reign, they've managed to get a double digits secured on the board, so OG, they definitely know. Now they cannot afford to drop any single round here. Even their economy is not that stable, so things are starting to get complicated. This timeout was definitely needed from the side of OG, and I think so this is the last one as well, if I'm not wrong.
Oh yeah, I lost track of the tactical timeouts a long time ago.
Yeah,
I think this might be one of the last ones, you know. We've seen quite a lot of tactical timeouts already. I wonder if there's anything left for the late game. You're only allowed 2 tactical timeouts in games, so you gotta be very careful with those. Okay. Quite a lot of nanoswarms towards C and Garage respectively. Bottom's open towards B, but that is not going to be a problem for OG at all. This Rolling Thunder will definitely be. Folks tries to pick up the aggression on the back of it, but he's taken too much damage, so they fall back. OG survived the first wave of the defenders going on the attacking foot.
That was way too close, man. But Autumn, at least he was able to spot out the presence outside B. Now they know B's not free to take, but God's Reign, that double peek definitely worked out, but the instant trade from OG was exactly on the point. Look at Rawfield, this man is not scared of anyone. Immediately pushes up to the faces of the opponents, and he's soon enough going to meet 3 players in the front. Antidote trying to convert something to his team, but only able to chip away a lot of damage onto Tix. The IGL, the impact maker so far, is taken down way too low. OG, while they're trying to make some waves of their own.
I like that you threw in the Making Waves reference. Kind of a homage to VCV Pacific, which is basically where these teams want to end up in the end.
30 seconds
you know?
left.
They want to get to Ascension and hopefully then get to the International League as well. And you know what they say, if you're not making waves, that means you're not kicking hard enough. OG now wants to kick the door down. They use the... yeah, they want to kick the door down to this B site. They use the Cosmic Divide to cover their entry into the site. Just basically make sure that Vapor can't really make those moves once again, which he made previously. But it also facilitates God's Reign to get into the site, at least in the retaking area. They clear out the backside, and now they know that OG have to be playing from grass or bottom of mid. The smoke has been put down to cover the diffuser. Meanwhile, Autumn's gonna be the bodyguard from top.
Ooh, Aziz challenges the upper head on and still comes out on top in that duel. Raw fuel in the close quarters, unexpected, able to get away with murder, and now Vapor will need to respect the opponents and will need to fall back. Retrieve the op in the hand, but also connect that shot, but unfortunately will not be able to save it away. Tix with only 2 HP, still managing to stay alive somehow. This man was taken down to 2 HP at the start of the round and still is alive.
Yeah, but that one moment where they're creeping up mid and you've got Autumn just standing on top of the B gong box, just It was
yeah.
so nerve-wracking because I was like, he can see your head from here. But a tiny pixel is all that he needs. A rare miss from Autumn. He has been just deactivated this game. He was hitting shots left, right, center on Icebox, but now he's not got nearly as many frags as the rest of his teammates. I guess that's probably why Godsrain is struggling here. They need their big gun to come back. But why do you need the big gun to frag out when 3 people can do it at the same time? Raw Fuel saw his death flash before his eyes.
Look at the amount of info that was also given away, right? Now they know there were 3 players towards the A side, but I like the adjustment from the side of OG. Yeah, look, OG, they know. There were 3 players, so it's highly likely that they're probably going to be try to fall back instantly, because what the opponents will think is that OG will try to go on the opposite side, considering now they know there's 3 players on the A side. But no, that's not the case. OG, they're trying to pull something out of the hat over here, and RVK gets caught in the astral form. Not the right spot you want to go in the astral form in. And this time, OG they start to make their way on the A site. The scan goes through, and Tix able to rack up every single kill that stands up in front of him.
Godsrain, they make just one aggressive move, and that's the triple peek on A long to kill Raw Fuel. Other than that, they were just so passive. And we've spoken about Godsrain variating pace, but that was in between rounds, not in the same round, you know? The first aggro peek is all that they need to sell the misinformation to OG, and then OG, they bite the bait hard. Godsrain continue playing passively. Have you ever seen a Jet playing that far back from B Gong? I don't see that very often. And he's still able to get a kill. He baits RVK into a false sense of security, who somehow is already on 26 HP now.
Okay. Not a good start for this man, and then that just happens to him. Oh my, did he spot him? I don't think so, he did. And look at the amount of map control they've already found, but do they know that there's another player in the short area? Look at Autumn, he's starting to wrap it around all the way from the back lines. But there is another flank coming in, even from the side of OG. Look at Antidote, he's lurking in from mid. This lurk might just be huge. Autumn's position compromised. AZ's will go for the peak, but Autumn will connect the shot. Antidote's position unknown, he whips that shot. Not a good news, OG. Things are now going to start to fall apart, as this lurk is now spotted. Hoax just playing with his food, and now from the back lines his teammate will capitalize. Tesseract all by himself with not a lot of HP to back him up. He will soon enough be vanquished.
Vanquished and banished to the Netherrealm as Godsrain get map point. They're on the verge of taking this one away from OG. Damn, I gotta appreciate these posters that the crowd is holding, you know?
Hey, Apes want some bananas.
That's such... Oh my God. I don't know if that's a Donkey Kong reference, but it feels like one. And then I saw another one.
Reference that is, but there's a lot of things rushing in my brain as soon as I hear that.
Okay then. I'm gonna pretend that was a clean joke.
Placing swarm grenade.
That was. I mean, I think so. That was a clean joke.
Oh, okay. I thought there was some hidden meaning behind it, but yeah, that's just my nefarious.
The viewers who are watching should understand. I don't know. I mean.
Okay. Enough with the humor. This is quite a serious situation, a grim one. That is if you're an OG fan. If you're a Godsrain fan, you have all the right to cheer. Sai doesn't get fully sucked out by the gravity belt, so he's given another lifeline. This could have resulted in Antidote getting a kill, who is, by the way, back on the op.
Yeah.
OG have some massive ultimates to set up executes. The Hunter's Fury as well as the Seekers, if they want to play on B and try to make that mid-round adjustment. But so far, Godsrain haven't given them anything. 40 seconds have passed, and OG are still waiting for picks. They're still waiting for Godsrain to overextend, which is never going to come through.
Good Seekers. It's going to reveal so many info. Now they know there's Vibor in the window as well, and he will straight up peek out. That's a bold move, not a good sign at all. He gets team stunned. That's quite unfortunate. The Breach actually tried to help his teammate, but unfortunately Vibor, he got screwed up by that one. the
30
plan would go
seconds
down
left.
on the C side, and now we're down to a 5-on-3 scenario, while the rest of the 3 players of OG, of Godsreen, will try to go for the safe. They do not want anything to do on the C side anymore. They know it's next to impossible to get the retake solidified.
Yeah, that too, when they don't have any major AoE ultimates, and when Antidote has the lockdown, it just becomes too difficult. But this is when OG start to really hunt them down, you know, because you know you're going to walk away with that 4 weapons guaranteed. And you know that God's Reign have quite a lot of money as well, so you need to start making them humble now. That's exactly why God's Reign can afford to save, you know? They don't have to worry about the saving penalty. They know they can afford weapons once again. And they need to somehow get this AWP out of the hands of Autumn. OG have been lucky enough so far that Autumn isn't having that great of a game. But even without him, God's Reign are on the verge of winning. Imagine what's going to happen when Autumn comes back to life.
Well, I mean, a tactical timeout from Godsreen. They just want to top it off with a win here. They've already got the map point in the hand secured. OG, on the other hand, they're not going to let this go that easily. But this also gives a chance to the OG coach to try and speak to his teammates. So this tactical timeout might as well just work out in the hands of OG. But I'm pretty sure with how effective these tactical timeouts have been looking like for Godsreen, there's a high chance probably some read has been found over the opponents.
And what can you do in terms of a read? God's Reign aren't really making any of those bold aggro moves now. They've all just been waiting patiently. And same goes with Orangutan, you know. They hold out on their defaults for like the first 30-40 seconds of the round, hoping that they can get a pick onto a God's Reign member who's looking to play aggro. But that just never came through. And then with the last 40-something seconds left on the clock, OG had to make a move with the ball in their court. Without any information on where God's Reign were, they just pray and take their chances. It worked out for them when they made their site hit work. But can they depend on it consistently? This time OG seemed to be in a mood to fight mid very early on. And luckily God's Reign don't have all that much resistance on mid this time. Only KJ Util.
Godsreen.
Bomb grenade out.
Oh,
Targets
bomb
destroyed.
grenades out. OG, they start to stroll inside the site. They've got the B site control quite easily in the hand, but look at this recon drone. This can't prove out to be quite a massive one. He's also got a tag onto Rafiel. He should fall back right now, and that's what he exactly does. They also play for the post plant. Lockdown initiated. That's just going to add the cherry on top of the cake for them. But look at Tix. It's the legend on the other side of the door to try and topple it off with a little bit more AZs. He tried to catch him falling back, but that's not going to be the case. AZs manages to get away, and he might just have a big lurk on his hand, and yes, he does. OG, they start to capitalize. You blink it, and you miss it. It's the terror from OG raining down on the B side now, but Autumn with a huge 3K is now going to start to follow it up with a bit more, but unfortunately, Tesseract in quite close quarters.
OG positioning for success really well over here. You could see their intention before the hit even began. They don't have any smokes placed towards B-Link or C-Link before they enter. And then when they finally do, Rafiel's already inside. One smoke towards C-Link is placed, which kind of indicates that they're going to go ahead and take A-Link control very aggressively. Which is exactly why God's Reign tried to start off the retake with a drone. They tag up Rafiel, but it doesn't really do all that much because OG have already placed the lockdown. And then to follow up on top of it, to make sure that God's Reign don't have any nefarious ideas, Aziz goes on a fact-finding mission, which turns into a killing mission later on, but that's a different story.
I got the
Antidote
spike.
still on the op. He was peering down towards a shot where he could have been offered a duel against Autumn, but this time Autumn's holding a much more shallow angle.
Oh, this operator. It's making me way too anxious. Even OG, they've got one operator off their own. Antidote's going to try to peek out of the smoke. Definitely going to be filled with a lot of risk. And the recon drone does not check the close quarters. And that gives a huge opportunity for Autumn to capitalize. The gravity well was there, placed up too, and Autumn, as soon as he tries to fall back from the short area, RVK is just waiting for him to funnel out. He will shut him down, and we're probably going to head inside the overtime, ladies and gentlemen. It seems inevitable. Sai in a 1-on-4 situation, clutching it out is next to impossible. Ladies and gentlemen, working ahead inside the overtime as OG, they make the comeback happen.
OG win 3 rounds back to back to back. All that conditioning paying off, all that patience now giving away dividends. All those patient plays waiting for God's Reign to make a move just kind of force God's Reign to be on the default, so they can't make any preemptive rotations of their own. And even when they try, OG are just too quick on the trigger. Trigger is the word I was looking for. As soon as they figured out where one of the players of God's Reign is, they all just pound upon him. Like hellhounds released from the Netherrealms, they chase you down to the ends of the earth, chase you away from the site. And God's Reign can do nothing to repel the invaders.
12-12 half, man. And it's a timeout from OG. They're definitely giving in quite a lot of listening to the players. Considering they have managed to win so many rounds back to back, you do clearly see a sign of worry on the face of Godspeed. On the other hand, OG and how they're really having the wind in their sails. Let's see how well they're able to sail through.
You better pray that the wind in your sails doesn't run out, leaving you stranded in the middle of a currentless sea. Oh, it can be difficult to navigate these waters, these treacherous, unmarked waters. OG stacking up the B side on this defensive half. Let's see if it pays off for them. Rofuel opting for a bold choice. He's got the glass cannon off,
Keep it cool.
no shields on him.
That's how you survive.
High risk, high reward, huh?
And OG are taking all the risk in the world. They're putting all the chips at the center of the table, pushing it all in.
Good find. Autumn will need a fresh magazine. He still hasn't went for the reload just yet. AZ's able to find one with the trade. But God's Reign, they start to claw their way back inside this round. Now it's a 4-on-2. OG, no matter what happens right here, they will still need to go for the commitment. And Rafiel's still in the short. This man is just so stubborn. He hasn't left that angle yet. He finds one. Now he's going to start to get greedy with those kills. But Tix, he manages to find a cure instantly. Tesseract in a 1-on-3. If this man is able to repel the force that God's Reign has established so far inside this round, it will be a remarkable play.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tesseract needs all the power he can find. Time to ring your name true. Trying to find your own version of the Infinity Stone, and he starts things off by getting the kill on the Tix. A Lombard mocking shot. Both of them are going to reposition towards the defender's spawn. I'm guessing they will take control of Heaven and then mark a long from there. But what they don't know is that Tesseract has circled all the way back, and he's going in for the flank. Vibor checks it at the right time, and God's Reign find the edge.
They've won the first round of the OT. And now they're going to be pushed on the defense. God's Reign, the defense from their side on Haven has definitely been quite weaker compared to the attack. And now as OG, they're going to be on the attack over here. Let's see what they're going to be able to find, considering it is an attacking sided map. So, OG, something will need to be found over here. Of course, no operators on the board. On attacking side, it's quite tough to find any peaks.
Are they gonna give him peeks though? OG was quite comfortable in peeking out aggressively. On that defensive side, they were very adamant on just stacking up the A side and playing aggro towards sewers. But in the overtime, they take that aggression elsewhere towards mid. And God's Reign, their patience was finally rewarded. They've been playing these defaults quite a lot, but now OG are looking to do something similar. Drone towards long, meanwhile Antidote is trying to lurk up towards B.
Bomb grenade out.
Swarm grenade instantly activated, but I don't know what the intention was over here. I guess he was just trying to break any possible cage or util that's been placed over there, but he won't find anything. Vibor's positioned it all towards the A side, where he is the lone defender. The remaining God's Reign members are stacked up towards Garage and C respectively.
Here.
And for now, they're reading OG well. For now.
Tag.
Swarm grenade out.
Look at OG. They're all just funneling now to the A site. And the only thing that's holding things together on the site is that KJ utility antidote's making a lot of sound in
30
garage.
seconds left.
And that's definitely causing a lot of distraction in general as the rest of the players are now going to start to capitalize on the A site. Vapor indeed will be surprised. Recon darts on the way, but Vapor's able to dodge that in the nick of time, and now Rawfuel will start to surf in as he does find the entry for his team. The spike should go down soon enough. Not a lot of time
10
left
seconds
over
left.
in the hands, and Sai is going to go ahead and utilize those
Spike
lineups.
planted.
Shot dart's a little too late. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't really find the timing, but this paranoia can break the crossfire between the graffiti and the hell players. But there's nobody in graffiti. And he's defending from the default box, so is RBK. And now the Seekers have been popped. He's got this advantage. Antidote finally swings out, and this is the advantage we were waiting for. Aziz and Sai locked in a 1v1. The most clutchful player of the tournament up against the most highest rated player of the tournament, and it's Aziz who steps up huge.
And White swing to end it all. Swings it off and also gets another round in the favor of the OG. We're going to yet another overtime. OG, they're just quite stubborn. They're not going to accept their defeat no matter what happens inside this scenario. We expected this map of Haven to be in the favor of Godsreen. Yeah, that's what it seemed like in the first half and also at the start of the second half. But then later on, as OG, they started to move up with the force. It seemed quite next to impossible to repel that. And now things for OG definitely should be lined up over here. Recon drones out. Was able to get scan only on one person, and look at the amount of information that OG is able to stack up. That's immaculate.
Yeah, but I'm kind of concerned about the amount of utility OG is also burning. The Sovas have almost entirely expended their util. Aziz doesn't have a Trailblazer anymore, he's just using it to re-clear the A site. But even after that, OG only reaffirmed the information that they previously had, and that is that God's Reign are waiting for an A hit. Based on that, OG have indeed stacked up the A site, but God's Reign are still very patient. They're hoping that by cutting sound, OG will start overthinking themselves and reposition away, which is starting to happen. You can see the moves that Tesseract is making. But if he continues sticking on for just another moment, it will be great. He's got the recon out again, and this should be revealing everything. Meanwhile, God's Reign, you can feel the tension in the air. It's palpable. And here comes the hit.
Here comes the hit as they dash on the site. Autumn taking the heat against the opponents. Good scan from the side of God's Reign. Shots not able to connect from OG, and now these crossfires are going to start to ring the opponent's skulls as they start to peek out. OG, if they get this defensive rounds in the hand, then things will be looking way too critical for God's Reign. Vapor with that two-piece of his own was able to catch the player in the front off guard, and now Rawfuel, he only has an operator in the hand, but he's still looking to take the duel against him. As Rawfuel will go for the tap and an aggressive peek against the opponent, Vapor still peeks out and shuts him down. A monstrous play from Vapor to get another round under cover for God's Reign.
Vapor pulling off a side cosplay, pulling off a 1v3 clutch. That spray transfer onto those two players, absolutely immaculate. And with that, he farms up the lockdown, puts a timer on Rawfuel, and Rawfuel's compelled to make the moves.
Placing alarm bot. Placing swarm grenade. Turret out. Out
This
of charges.
game has me on edge. It's
Out
got
of
everybody
charges.
in the audience sitting on the edge of their seats, biting on their fingernails. Oh, wait. Are you really gonna go for the peak like this? No flashes, no drone.
Alarm bot out.
Tesseract and RVK just looking to creep up. What if there's an opper over there? They're well versed with the risk. But at the same time, you've got Rawfuel trying to knock on the doors of Garage. I wonder if this is a full-on commitment or if it's just another attempt to bait out God's Reign rotations. They discover where the board is. They bait him out. Tix doing well for one. Can't do another.
God.
Tesseract is just too good. And they've got the site now.
Classic OG able to win those duels on behalf of Tesseract Heroics.
And with those two kills and the spike plant, he's got the Hunter's Fury.
Yeah,
This is almost done and
massive.
dusted. OG can nearly confirm this round for themselves.
Yeah, unless they just don't give out free picks, which is what they're known for.
Yeah.
They should not do that. God's Reign slowly and steadily able to claw their way back on the site. But are they going to be able to get this round secure? That's what matters. Godsreen will need to play this forcefully and aggressive. They will need to try and assert some sort of dominance. Hunter's Fury utilized too to try and cancel the defuse. And yes, that's done. OG, they're going to take us to another overtime once again, ladies and gentlemen. This game is fired up, and both these teams are definitely feeling the heat. And even I'm feeling the heat now.
Oh, definitely. It's the middle of summer, and that's exactly why you can find Autumn sweating bullets over here. God's Reign had such a massive lead, but then they blew it. OG pieced 3 rounds together in the regulation to force this game into overtime, and now they're putting the pieces together to put the whole puzzle apart.
Sentry.
This is amazing. OG change up the pace. They go for a contact play, not something that they do often. And on the back of that contact play, they're able to find the round once more. Tesseract with 2 kills and the spike plant gets the Hunter's Fury. And you know that if you have an ultimate in the overtime, you can basically guarantee yourself the win. He wants to push the envelope even further. Drone clears out the lobby. But that's okay because God's Reign are hitting the B site. What they don't know is that Antidote is still here. Antidote almost never plays from this position. This is something that Autumn likes to play from. And now that he's found the kill, he doubles up. That's the spike down. Rotation's now coming in. The cavalry has arrived. Rafuel's on scene and Tesseract's ready to intercept in case God's Reign decide to hit A-Link. Will they check this angle? It seems so treacherous. It seems like a well-orchestrated play. And it's Tix all by himself, losing his crown, losing the lead as OG take the throne. They're inching closer and closer to victory.
That is just massive. OG really needed this round. And it was those defending rounds where OG were crumbling apart. But now this time, they get that defensive round in the hand. Quite a crucial one too. But look at the plays they made. Quite commendable. And a tactical timer from Godsreen because now they know OG, the only struggling point for them in the overtime were those defending rounds as they have came out on top now. Something needs to be planned here in Godsreen's defense because OG on their attack, they're not going to let any slack loose.
Oh man, if OG win this map, it would be such a heartbreak for God's Reign. OG have gone from strength to strength. With Aziz starting things off in the pistol run with an ace to Tesseract pulling off another ace in the same game. And now we have this triple overtime extravaganza. What a map this has been. An absolute banger so far. And regardless of who wins this one, it is the perfect map to have in the grand finals of VCSA. Even the audience vote are tied even. For the first time I feel the audience, they are not conflicted. All of them
They're
have
confused.
equal odds of winning. Sorry. They are actually conflicted for the first time because most of the times these audience polls swing in either direction, but now they are spot on. 50 each.
Oh, that whiff. That whiff is going to cost him a lot, Crips. And hopefully it's not going to cost him this entire map as well because look at this. All the 3 players looking to funnel in the B site. The barrel spotted. Vapor strikes like a venomous snake. As he shuts down the opponent in the front and also giving the man advantage in the hands of Godsreen and taking it away from OG. Side towards Garage. Will try to play it off of the alarm bot. Unfortunately, not able to establish that kill, but still able to soften the opponents up. But it's completely fine. They've got the recruit stacked up.
Take a look at what RVK is up to. He's slowly, creepily heading towards the A-Link region. He's got the A lobby under control to make sure that nobody from God's Reign can push up. Oh, but Aziz gives away a life to its Garage. Was that a good attempt at a fake? I guess only time will tell. God's Reign aren't rotating towards the A side anymore, but Hoax has a good idea. He's using the Aftershock to delay them as much as possible. This kind of tells you that God's Reign know what's about to come. But are they prepared for this one? Autumn's marking shots. Hoax is about to defend long, and he's doing it really well. We might just have another overtime on the cards.
Yep, we probably do. 1-on-4. Next to impossible to pull off. Operator marked at you. Yeah. OG, they lose out on the attack for the first time in the OT. And now the real sweat's gonna start to build up.
You know, later on after this whole ordeal is over, I kind of want to read some of those posters out. I didn't really get the time to properly have a look at them, have a gander at them.
It's nothing special. The only good one is that, like, you want the bananas.
No. There's one about Vibhor also. I couldn't properly
there?
read it. I was too distracted. Yeah, there's one about Vibhor, something about matter or some reference like that. So I want to see it later on. But for now, I want to see if Anders can survive this one. He's revealed, he's stunned up,
Wow.
and now he's been hit with the paranoia as well. No way he could have seen that coming. Autumn, though, in the edge of the smoke, is racking up the heat once again. God's Reign bully their way into the seaside.
Spike planted.
Yeah, they lost on this defense. Not good news for them. And God's Reign, they've got the hands all across the seaside. But AZ is able to find one. That was quite a quick peek and a kill. Rawfield's got his hands on the operator, but so far the op isn't really able to find any sort of impact just yet. AZ's repositions himself towards the garage area as God's Reign, they readjust. But RVK gets the trade in the hand. A 2-on-3, it's doable. If Rawfield's able to pull something off, and yes he does, RVK! An incredible shot on your opponents, but the time's taken away. Not a lot of time left in your hands, and RVK's got no clue where it takes his position. Now he knows, but he's got no time left over.
A valiant attempt at this retake. OG had lost quite a lot of their members early on, and even in that 3v5 situation, they balled it down to a 1v1, slayed all their nemesis. It's unfortunate they run out of time. That being the biggest enemy is now going to push OG against the wall once again. Can they tear through, or will they succumb to the fresh up? We've seen so many overtimes, and all of them have been nerve-wracking. Every time OG find themselves pinned against the wall, they push through it, they break through it. But this time it seems like God's Reign finally have them in the news. OG turn up the heat. This time it's not a contact play. They burst inside with all the util. But they don't find anyone from God's Reign. They're not finding the picks. Can they at least find the plant?
I don't exactly know, but looking for Bor, who's got quite a key positioning, but was only able to get one. Instantly gets traded out, so nothing much can be said. Behalf of that, Tesseract as well is able to win those duels. You can never challenge a duel against a man like Tesseract. There's a high chance he's going to come out on top. And I think so. We're probably going to be seeing another OT. Hoax's position compromised. Now they know Hoax is right over there. As he peeks out, Tesseract is primed in that way. Operator misses a shot. Autumn soften up with only 60 HP. 2 bullets of AR should seal the deal. And Autumn, he's got way too many angles to look at. Tesseract goes berserk. He goes heroic.
And we are going to yet another overtime. This game just doesn't seem to end, and I am loving it.
This is what you want to see in a grand finals.
Both the teams just going at each other's like wolves at each other's throats. And they're finding quite a lot of success on these attacking rounds, but there's only been one particular overtime where both of them found a defensive round each. Can they finally finish this game over? Nanoswarm primed. Won't be activated in time, and God's Reign are peering through these defenses. Autumn has already broken the front line. RBK still available over there. Antidote chimes in from Garage. He peers out of the smoke, jumping out to save his teammates from certain death. But now more God's Reign members have arrived on scene. Aziz is also here for backup. He doesn't have the gall to go for a flash peek like that. But look at the pause that God's Reign are taking. They were waiting for an overextension, and RBK gives it to him. A crossfire held between default box and the site elevator. And it's amazing. Aziz is able to find another one. He breaks them all on his own.
Aces! We're seeing monstrous plays after monstrous plays. These guys are just out for each other. And this overtime is really making everyone in the arena break a sweat. But these players are looking quite cold. They've got ice in the veins. As now we move on forward to yet another round in the OT, where OG now will be forced on a attack. And their attack so far has been looking quite phenomenal. Are they going to be able to put up another round to back it up? Let's find out, because Tix, the IGL, will now try to take matters in his own hands.
God's Reign breaking a sweat. Meanwhile, OG fans breaking into a dance. And OG are done it. This was such a clean take. An opportunity missed, a
Spike
shot
planted.
whiffed, and this could be the end. OG might just be able to seal the deal right here. They will steal this map away from God's Rain's grasp, pry their dead cold hands open, and take the map for themselves. Vibor and Autumn have just one dream, and OG might just turn it into a nightmare. The clock is ticking away, the spike is half gone, and with it, the hopes of God's Reign as well. Tesseract gets peppered down, but Vibor will finally be shut down. OG put up a giga banger of a map, several overtimes to take the second map for themselves.
Nuclear performance from OG. 2-0 so far in the grand finals. This team's flow is looking unstoppable in VCSA. Their undefeated run so far over here in the grand finals, the momentum swing is in their favor. And if they do win out the grand finals as well, they will be your undefeated champions. All they need is one more map in the hands to seal the deal. And ladies and gentlemen, just to let you guys know, the upcoming map is going to be OG's pick. The map is split. We've seen them play once in the past, and they were looking quite immaculate, unbeatable. So I really want to see what's prepared from God's Reign on that map. Before now, we're going to push to a short break and catch our breaths.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
I know my destiny. I know my destiny. I know my destiny. I know my destiny. I know my destiny.
Exactly, but you know what, Crips? It's time for us to welcome the YouTube audience back to NODWIN Valorant Challenger South Asia, driven by Orangutan with our styling partner Phillips One Blade. Now OG, they're on the series point as we move on forward inside the map of Pearl. Rawfield's gonna go for that jet. We usually see that double duelist composition from the side of OG, but that's not gonna be the case. Instead, Rawfield is just gonna lock in that jet. Interesting changes over here, but Autumn will go with the Raze.
Alright, so I was only correct about Psy picking up the Sky. That's it. All my other predictions were more or less tossed aside because God's Reign have picked up a double controller setup. The Viper Astra combination, that's what they're going for. And I kind of expected Holmes to be on Killjoy, but instead he is on the Cypher, which is also pretty interesting because RBK has also picked up the Hatted Spy.
Interesting. I mean, this composition, we've seen it in action last time against Reckoning Esports, where the scoreline was 13-7. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. To the series point is OG. Will they keep their undefeated run inside the tournament and run away with the championship? Or are God's Reign going to be able to make a comeback from the graves?
There is a massive deficit that God's Reign find themselves against. If they are to make this comeback, they will have to win not only Split, but also the next map. And that will take us to Ascent as the decider. It will be a 5-map extravaganza. OG already starting off with a bullet to the head, antidote quite low on HP. Now, luckily he can get healed up. But look at this toxin screen that's been put up by Vebor. It only cuts off the B main entrance as well as the bottom of mid, which aren't areas that OG are looking to exploit at all. Things already playing towards the other side of this wall, has dropped the spike. RBK left to his own devices. He can only hope that a flank from Antidote comes at the right time, but that angle is also being marked heavily. RBK's position given away, so God's Reign have this round in the bag mostly.
Pretty much. That should happen. But still, we can't speak for the teams just yet. RBK checking every single angle, eventually meets two peoples in the front. And then even Antidote's able to follow it up with one of his own. A good nade to try and capitalize on his position, and that will seal the deal on the first round. As God's Reign, they kick things off on a good note inside the map of Split. The Raze is really now already starting to show that effect. But that jet pick on the map is Split. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but Raze always comes up with a lot of advantages in general. Her utility kit is just so better on this map. But hey, whatever that is, man. For now, OG, they're looking like the alligators are looking to munch away the players of God's Reign. And God's Reign, they're over here fighting for the lifeline. If they drop out on this map, it's pretty much donezo, game over. And we'll see them probably back in the Split too. Guns back in the hands of God's Reign as they've got the advantage because they won the previous round. And OG, on the other hand, with this eco, will need to try and pull something off. They've got a decent amount of utility stacked up too. And every single player from OG will probably just try to flood on the site as soon as the gates are open. And that's what happens. Rawfield dashes in. And now the rest of the players will start to make it in. A good spray from the side of Tix, and it will find the rest of the players. A flawless and a clean sweep. Should be bonus round for God's Reign, considering not a single body was dropped in. So, yeah. It's all going to come down to this bonus round. Let's see what's going to be, or how's the things going to look like on this one. As Vandals and Phantoms on the board for the opponents, they've got an advantage in the hands.
Rise and bring glory.
With a little touch of aggression, God's Reign should be able to surprise their opponents and also use their weapons to the best. And that's what they're doing so far. You can see them sort of pushing out of A main. Look at them. They've already gotten a lot of map control, but there was a Cypher's camp just waiting for them. And RVK's got no interest in challenging that fight. It's going to back out instantly. Look at the amount of control. Even the players of OG they have found for themselves. They've got the heaven control all the way in the hand. Good snakebite to try and deal a lot of damage on the man in the front. Rawfield, he's quite softened up. And OG Once again, they're going to try to stroll on the B side over here. Vapor gets caught off guard, gets spotted at the nick of time. Good spam to find that man. Hoax and Side Dreams, they've got a good fire set up over here, but even Side Dreams get caught off guard. And now it's all down to the man all the way in the back lines of the site. Towards the defender spawn Hoax. It's going to be tough to burst out of that one. 3-on-5 scenario. Even the gun's advantage is in the hands of the opponents, but you cannot afford to give peaks like that. 46 HP. Even RVK is quite softened up. Only has 37 HP left over. And now OG, they're probably going to try to play this one with discipline. Attacks coming through. Rothfield able to run away with the kills. OG finally able to find the sweet spot. Good find from Tix. He will get the second man as well soon enough. He will need to get a fresh magazine in the gun too, but he's getting lively tagged by the cam. Wanted to take out the dart, but hands were too busy to try and fight back as he wins that one. Take a look at the replay too, and OG, a good round. But still some overcommitments almost costed them a lot of guns. Lost it out on 3 of their guns, so in the upcoming rounds, that should definitely be a little problematic for them. Moving up forward. As they've got the weaponry, of course, but one Bulldog in the hands of Tesseract should be a huge sign of concern. On the other hand, if you take a look at Godsreen, once again, they're just getting pushed up. The floodgates are open, and Godsreen not really able to put a full stop to that momentum. AZ's as well finds one, and OG, once again, they start to run away with the site control. And look at RVK pushed up so deep, all the way towards the spawn. He's probably going to try to make moves even more. He will try to wrap around all the way towards heaven, but what is that spam? Raw Fuel able to get away with 2.
The cyber cage turning into a prison for God's reign as Autumn, he stands no chance. Rothfield finds everything through that. And Sai is on a massive flank, but what can he possibly do in this 1v5? The best that he can hope for are exit frags. And he gets discovered. They know where he is. They don't want him to save this gun. Triple peek incoming. Even Aziz himself is enough. Good recovery from OG.
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a lot of Godsreen supporters, right? There's quite a lot of OG supporters too, so the arena is really now starting to get packed up to the brim.
Yeah, and I see a lot more people in the arena today as compared to any other day. Makes sense. The hype of the finals reaches to all the corners of the country. And that brings up every corner of Delhi into the arena. The first tactical timeout already enforced. I mean, there isn't too much that Godsreen can do to adapt to this because OG, they haven't even displayed all of their tricks so far.
This tactical timeout from Godsreen. OG, they've won back-to-back 2 rounds, so definitely this tactical timeout's needed because they've lost out on even the bye round now, so yeah, they will be back to 0 money once again. Not exactly 0, but they should be able to have some pistols in the hands to try and make some impact. And Godsreen, definitely, if they're going to lose out the series on 3-0, it will be a huge disappointment for the fans too.
Yeah, especially when they were on map point on Haven and then fumbled the game in a mega overtime affair.
This is a
OG
nice
on the verge of winning. You know they're feeling the momentum. Godsreen are feeling the pressure. I just hope that they don't crack under all this pressure. Trailblazer to clear out all potential tripwires, and that allows Rothfield to charge right in. Spike gonna follow on the backs of Antidote soon enough. Godsreen are only hoping to peer out of these smokes and get some kills with the elevation, but then again, with OG firmly rooted inside this A site, Godsreen can't hope to break open these crossfires.
God! And he lines him up. RVK able to get away with 2, but there's a Vandal in the front. Hoax will get it in his hands, but he wasn't really able to find any sort of impact with that one. Tix picks it up in his hands. It's a 4-on-2 scenario. Good flash from side, but nothing can be found. Frenzy in the close quarters can definitely be deadly, but how much if Rawfield's able to connect those shots. And now Tix in the back lines looking to catch someone off guard, but the Flash is going to discover him. Tix on the investigation will probably get caught soon enough, but they line up for him. And Tix managing to get a lot of impact for his team. That's a massive one. Last one to go, and Tix will kill every single player. Final 2 bullets in the chamber, and he nails it.
That was very stylish to look at, but unfortunately the round not converted. But hey, that's definitely going to be a big boost in the ego of Tix. That's going to put his confidence sky high. And this also keeps the OG economy humble. They don't get to take any of these guns forward. So they get the win, but they will probably be at an economic deficit going into the next round.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're already starting to run out of money. You can see that they were having quite a lot of money before this, but now they are lost 2,000 something credits.
Yeah. They dropped every single body, so it makes sense.
Cage triggered.
But look at OG, they're not even wasting a lot of initial time. Instantly, the first man is just dashing in, but this time they finally managed to find a cure. Gets caught in the spam, and now this is where things will probably start to fall apart. Antidote used himself as a heavy recon, found out that the site's completely clear, but Autumn's position's known, and he's going to start to get capitalized soon enough. A good Trailblazer will suppress this man at the close lines, and even a nade was utilized, but that's not enough, because OG, once again, they get the site control back in their hands. They have managed to get the grip.
But the spike isn't
And
anywhere
unfortunately,
close.
yeah, they lost the site control.
I mean, OG have been all over this map. You first used raw fuel as a dash in towards the B site. Meanwhile, there were still 2 players of OG positioned outside of A. As soon as the Cypher took off his hat, as soon as the neural theft was used, the 2 remaining members of OG, they go into the A site. Even Antidote tries to join them with the ultimate, but he just couldn't find the timing, and God's Rain were positioned appropriately. And now OG have to go all the way around once again. They're walking straight into this Cypher trap. Folks has his trap wires placed, so the information will be given away. Oh, but they fall back once again. This time they're heading back towards B. Tix is waiting over here. He catches the planter. No, he recovers. It's fine. It's still okay. He's gone undiscovered so far. RBK's running out of time, running out of space, as they're all positioning around him, surrounding him from every direction.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, that was just way too close, man. That could have been just deja vu all over again. Last round it was Tix, and this round it could have been RVK. But eventually, Tix able to shut him down. I'm not gonna lie, the IGL today is stepping up huge for his team. He's able to speak volumes with his gameplay.
And it was Tix who made all the difference. Yeah, the shots weren't perfect, but he gets the job done. Kills the planter, puts RBK in a very awkward spot, and then finishes him off too. Both the teams died. They're tied dead even. Toxin, Spleen, and Snake fight will make sure Rocky can't dash him just yet. And the Trailblazer discovers where Vapor is. Now that's the mid defender out of the picture.
Good switch onto the classic. Doesn't want to waste a lot of knives right there. And Rafiel once again will find another one. This man is able to get away with murder. Someone put him in jail. He needs to be punished for the way he's playing the game. He's playing inside a pro lobby, but still treating it like a casual game. Just flying all across the board like a bird in the sky, and no one's able to clip his wings. As OG, they run away with the site control once again, and no cure found of that. Rafiel, he's on the hunt. He knows he's got the Blade Storm. He might as well try to use it to its fullest extent. And now he's going to start to overextend because he knows the opponents are going to go for a save. Godsreen, they're quite scared to peek out. They're going to try to play off of each other. The first man reveals himself. Rafiel now smells his opponent and wants to capitalize and decapitate him one after the other, while the rest of his teammates join him in this hunt. Is he going to be able to capitalize on them? That's my question. Whiffs all the knives, but Rafiel will still go for the commitments no matter what. Eventually will get dealt with.
That's completely okay. He had nothing to lose in the first place, so he might as well use the Blade Storm to bring God's Rain economy. They're just about to start running out of money. Tix tried really hard, man. If he found that one kill towards B main, it would have probably helped the cause, but he was getting pinched, so he had no choice but to try using the stars and use the smokes to his advantage. Hopefully that buys him a pocket of space which he can keep himself alive with. But no. OG are unrelenting, unforgiving, and this time they are unstoppable. Look at the pace. Rockfield forcing the hand on the elevation. Meanwhile, the rest of them trying to knock on the doors of A main. Yeah, this will hold them back. This will scare them away for a moment. Autumn's got enemies on both sides of him, and that's the showstopper out of the picture. The only thing that was holding them back, the only thing that was keeping OG's check is now dealt with, and now they have free reign over the site. Hoke still resides over here. An unknown entity, capable of changing the course of this round, but he hasn't been discovered yet. Can he recover from this little precarious position he finds himself in? No, he cannot. Tix can't even get upstairs.
Spike planted.
His position's known. Look at them. Both of them just looking at the vents area. As soon as Tix peeks out his head, he will be bopped. And that's why Tix starts to fall back. He doesn't want anything to do anymore. He's just going to try to play for the impact frags and also some exits. Taking things slow and casual. Antidote's going to be soon enough approaching him. And he will be caught off guard. Didn't know that Tix was right in the undergrounds area, but now Tesseract from Backlands is going to start to move up forward, and he gets the kill secured. The save denied.
Whew. There was one thing that could have stopped OG in their tracks, and it's that big rocket. Autumn was so confused in that moment because he knew that OG have already leaked in towards the A Heaven region. They've already leaked up the ramp. And there's enemies on both sides of him, so where does he use the showstopper? And in that decision paralysis, he was struck down. Showstopper gone to waste. Firepower not capitalized on. And once again, God's Reign finds himself staring down at the brutal end of this eco. Oh, okay. This nade is certainly going to switch things up. He can't do much with the showstopper, but if the Patience file that much value, it will be great.
Considering they're only on an eco, or pretty much you can say broken buys, because Hoax has got his hands on a Vandal. Let's see how much of an impact this man's able to find with only Cypher alone. He knows he's getting approached soon enough by the players in the front. Antidote's going to be the man in the close quarters. Camera destroyed as well. At least the presence is known. Now the Heaven control is lost up. Look at Side Dreams pushed up so deep towards Market.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to point out. In case OG change their mind and try to go back towards the B side, Sai will be the one who can stop them. He can at least catch RVK by surprise, but RVK still wins the duel. And now they're fighting on all cylinders towards the A site. Autumn on a killing spree. But he won't be able to stop OG from going back towards vents. He's passed on the information to Vibor, who's responsible for shutting RVK down. A bullet to the body is going to be enough. Snakebite will keep the remaining members of OG also stationed back. And they go back towards A. OG are just playing ring around the rosies. They're making God's Reign position themselves way too often. And they finally get the superior angles. They got the sight.
This round shouldn't have been this close, but it has came down to being quite so close. So let's see how OG is able to recover from this. They've got weapons in the hand, superior weapons. Autumn with only a Sheriff. Vapor's got his hands on the Vandal. We'll try to satchel in, finds the first one. AZs! This man is demonic! And with a 4K, the most impactful player inside that previous round will help seal the deal. Perfectly done. Round secured in the hands as well as OG. They're so good.
Both him and Tix were on a 3K. It would come down to one of them to pick up the Quadra and turn this round into something that it wasn't supposed to be. Oh man, the paint shell opening that Autumn found over there. I'm sorry, I almost put Tix on that quad kill. It was Autumn actually. He was the one making all that impact. He wasn't able to do much with the showstopper, but then he made up for it with that massive paint shell opening.
What? Oh, he's not able to discover the camp. Finally,
yeah.
it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Eyes down on B. Viper Spit up on A. God's Reign. They're holding on to these sides with an iron grip. Even the trap fire placements are quite unique. So this will probably discourage raw fuel from that dashing in. But do they even want to dash in? That's the question.
Oh, they're starting to fall back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably going to try to contest the mid-control here, Crips. It's understandable. On the map, a split. Mid-control is needed. It opens up a lot of opportunities. First flash sent inside the vents to clear it out. Now they know there's no one presented over there, so that's not going to be a threat at all to them. As OG, they start to make their way all the way deep inside vents, and probably they will try to get the heaven control secured as well. And luckily for them, there's no Cypher tripwire this time because they knew that the Cypher's all the way towards the B site. This is a perfect adaptation from them as they find the first opening. The second one will flow through as well. The floodgates are open, and God's Reign, they start falling down like a domino effect, one after the other, not really able to get the grip back on the side anymore. It's a 3-on-4 scenario. Antidote posted up with the op, gets away with one.
And now the crossfires of OG are too damn strong. You've got both the players under drop. Antidote peering towards window when he gets the kill, as I say that. Sai left to his own devices. At least kills raw fuel. He's able to get away with the gun in his hand, but now OG are starting to have too much fun. They're making God's Reign change positions and get out of their comfort zones way too often. Rafuel was hit with his own teammate's paranoia when he was dashing in, but yet he was able to find the opening as he get into that cloud burst.
Crips, you can see the frustration building in on Desai. When he died right there from sewers, his face definitely expressed a lot of emotions.
Why wouldn't it? God's Reign had the advantage in the previous game, and that whole overtime affair game must have definitely caused some friction in the team. And now that OG are running away with the half, running away rampant, they've already established the lead in this half. Regardless of whatever happens next, OG are still going to walk out of this half with a massive advantage to their name. Autumn finally picks up the judge. I was waiting when this weapon would come out. Now the time is here, finally. But OG, being aware that God's Reign are on an eco, are going to take every step with caution. Checking every angle, taking it slowly. They don't want to walk into any of these traps that God's Reign might have set up for them. A cyber cage used by RVK to fake a presence, which baits out God's Reign's utility. Especially Sai's utility. He's run out of flashes now. OG makes some noise towards mid. They leave Antidote over there, and now they're going back towards sewers. This time Hoax is prepared with his setup. One more cyber cage left in the pocket. Camera discovered. But the tripwire still not broken. And now Antidote, he tries to make a move into its screens with the ultimate. Instantly cancels as he discovers players over there. That's going to give quite a lot of information to OG. They know that Elbow is being heavily contested, but the rest of the side is free. And now that the Elbow players are dealt with, Side tries to make up for it with the lack of presence. And Aziz casually, yet again, picks up a 3-piece. He's done that so
Perfectly
often now.
done.
Yeah, he's got so many multi-kills, I've lost track of how many times he's pulled it off.
Tix, the last man left on the naughty list, and the judge will meet right to his face as OG, they run away with another round in the hand. 8-3, and soon enough it's probably going to be converted to 9-3 considering how the momentum's looking like.
This is quite the predicament God's Reign find themselves in. How do they dig themselves out of this hole that they partially dug for themselves? OG were fiddling around with them like they were toys, making God's Reign over-rotate, making them take positions they don't want to pick up fights in. And then God's Reign find themselves in such uncomfortable angles. OG have no trouble breaking open these crossfires, which, to some extent, were dismantled before they had a chance to come into fruition.
Exactly. OG now starting to slowly and steadily creep up from the sides of the map. Antidote looking to find some value with this operator. Did get the peek on the first man, but nothing found. No value found from that single bullet fired. OG still quite indecisive. Silence all across the board. Don't know exactly what to do and what not. Because OG
Yeah.
still quite indecisive.
Yeah, but at least God's Reign are making all these proactive moves.
Oh.
Side trick
Yeah.
is the tripwire, so
Not
that
anymore.
definitely should make OG a little paranoid about
I've
a
got
potential
your
backstab, but
trail.
they are not gonna care about this at all. RDK using camera here, secure discover hoax, and he's getting bit by the cabbages as well as the birds. Dropfuel almost got the second, but now Autumn's farmed up
Wow.
the showstopper, and this time he's gonna find value. This time he's gonna blow Antidote
Big
apart
one.
to smithereens. Paint shell keeping them at bay once again. OG are running out of time. They need to go for the spike plant now, but God's Reign have already arrived on scene. They have so many members positioned over here that the plant is nearly impossible.
10 seconds
OG will have to shoot their way to a win.
Oh, they'll need to try and win these duels. 3 players in the front, 4 players to try and resist the control as they try to break free. They're instantly decapitated. Nowhere to go. God's Reign making the first half 8-4. Still, OG having a huge lead in their hands. And now they're starting to get a firm grip over God's Reign's throat. Soon enough, we're going to be moving on forward towards the second half. But ladies and gentlemen, with how this one's looking like, this is looking way tougher for God's Reign. But at least they were able to close things on a great note inside the first half.
I mean, the 8-4 scoreline has been persistent throughout this match. Sometimes it's in the favor of OG, sometimes it's in the favor of God's Reign. And yet, OG find a way to push through all these obstacles and hurdles and get the lead. Can they capitalize on this lead and close out the series 3-0? We'll have to find out on the other side of this break. We'll see you.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. After that entertaining first half, now we're going to move on forward in the map is split once again to the second half for OG. Will be pushed on the defense and God's Reign on the attack. So far, OG on the attack have been managing to find a lot of loopholes that they were abusing, but now it's time for God's Reign to find those holes and drill through them.
Drilling through their opponent's skulls with nails, with hammers, and everything else. OG have looked phenomenal so far. The barrier up keeps them positioned in a very awkward, tight spot. Meanwhile, you've got Aziz using his flashes towards mid, which basically confirms God's Reign aren't present over here. And they push them back, they repel them away towards the A side again.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of this because
Here.
there's still 2 players available there, and OG is not one of those teams that's going to fall for the bait that easily. As soon as they're going to hear this first wiper wall come in, we're probably going to be seeing quick rotations from their side. Raffle's on the screens. He's ready exactly on the site. RVK playing towards elbow, just waiting for them to funnel in. This crossfire might just be a huge meat grinder soon enough. If Raffle manages to connect all of his shots, he finds the first one, but Autumn's there to resist it. RVK still on the site, lining up the bodies on top of each other, and now it's looking like an entire graveyard as OG. They've got 3 players up, and God's Reign with only 1. The last glimmer of hope, the burning torch. Is it going to be able to extinguish or melt down the opponents? I guess the first option is going to be the outcome.
It is indeed a graveyard. OG carving their opponents' names onto the headstones and planting them at their graves.
Spike down A.
And now, God's Reign, standing in this desecrated field of what was once a hopeful Springfield yard, are finding no way to get back in this game. Can they snuff out OG's fire? Can they just boil the heat down for just a moment. A moment enough to let them breathe once again. Smokes placed on mid. God's Green not keeping their presence a secret at all. But while 3 of them are knocking on the doors of mid, they've got Horde trying to creep into A and Sai trying to creep into B. So let's see if any of these players also towards the extremities can find something. Nope.
3 players
nothing so
towards
far.
mid. Yeah. But at least they've managed to sneak up quite deep, right? Their positions is known. But look at how disciplined even OG is playing. Even though they've got the guns advantage, they position themselves on those aggressive angles where they're probably not going to be expected by a huge margin. And God's Green still indecisive. They don't exactly know where to hit, what to do. This indecisive nature is really starting to put them in a state where they cannot think openly.
Look at the
And now look at Tesseract.
never mind.
He will be taken down. It's completely fine. Look at Tesseract in and off angle. He's going to be greeted with a lot of players, but it's completely fine. This man is a magma, and he will melt every single player in the front.
Too hot to handle.
Here.
Oh, no way! No way!
No, you don't do that! This is the grand finals. You don't do that! It's not a normal game, AZs. You don't do that to your opponents. You don't humiliate them like that. And that too, Sai? No.
Shivved, shanked,
Enemy down.
and sliced into pieces. This is not just any regular knife, ladies and gentlemen. This is a blade pointed directly at the guts and the heart of their enemy's souls. It will break morale more than it breaks anyone's body.
All he can say is just smurfs. They're smurfing through this map.
No way, this is disgusting. What an obscene display of power. Ooh. The smoke allows them to get past into the vent, but there's no point because Rafiel's still positioned over here. Meanwhile, Antidote sneaks out of his own smoke to find the spike carrier. Tix narrowly waits in arrival of Antidote. He wanted to go for the knife. He could tell the temptation. It was
player
beckoning to
standing.
him, but he would just much rather pull the trigger. And RVK's toying with his opponent.
No way! No way! OG! Stop it! Stop it! Respect them. Not good. This is humiliation.
And then the OG support is
In the
pulling off the
arena.
same moves in real life.
Oh my god. This is humiliating. Literally humiliating.
How do they recover from this one?
No
They're
way.
entrenched
It's
so
done.
deep inside this little pit of darkness. All light has been snuffed out. All hope that was once available has left the server as God's Reign tried to recover.
At this point in time, OZ, they just have so much confidence that it's going to be tough to stop this team. Even the crowds, even they are humiliating the players, just adding salt on top of the wounds. But what's
Not just
going on
salt.
today? I mean, I'm a person who likes salty stuff, but this
Yeah.
is way too much, man.
Yeah, like I said, it's borderline uncomfortable. Oh, OG don't just want to win this tournament, they want to make a statement while doing so. They want to style on their opponents, slice them down, shank them, and if that's not enough, then they also want to sever their heads off in an obscene display of power.
Blocking vision.
Green Shell's already
We started.
expended, and here
Ooh.
goes the bunny, Autumn flying in, but the one-way smoke kills
Spike
Hoax,
down.
and RVK then peeks out of the smoke to kill Autumn. Tesseract also disrespecting the smokes. At this point, these little pieces of cover are nothing to OG.
This is just done. They're being proven unparalleled on split. And Crips, I mentioned this with the way OG looked last time on this map. They looked undefeatable. And they replicate the same thing once again, the similar aura. At least Reckoning Esports were able to make it close enough.
God's
But
Reign.
you gotta give it up to God's Reign as well.
Yeah.
They have went through a lots of ups and downs. They are indeed one of those teams with champion mentalities. But today, OG, they just prove them unparalleled.
God's Reign are putting everything together. With pennies and pocket flint, whatever's left in the bank, they're using that to purchase bulldogs. Not the ideal weaponry, but it is something they'll have to make do with. They can't even try and go back towards Vent and hopefully bait OG out because of the trap fires. At least they pushed RVK back. And now they will use this to bisect the map in half. Vibor trying to get into screens. He's put down the smoke so he can't get shot down from the defender base. But it doesn't matter. Tesserakt's marking this angle. They have to drop down. And the crossfire that Antidote has set up could have been deadly, but at least he's dealt with. Tesseract still finding value. Aziz chips in. Even Rawfuel's here to add insult to injury. And it's done. OG
It's done!
are your winners of Omen Valorant Challenger South Asia Split 1. They will pick up this trophy in a very dominant fashion, and they send a bold and clear message to everyone who doubted them.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for OG. They're your undefeated champions of VCSA. As you mentioned, indeed a huge statement being made by this team. And God's Reign, they're left astonished. They got destroyed, dismantled, any other word you would like to add on to there. Devoured. They tried their best, but OG just proven them unparalleled. Proving that they're indeed a powerhouse inside South Asia. A force to be reckoned with.
A powerhouse indeed. OG have gone from strength to strength. They dropped only a couple of maps, but never a full series. And now, without dropping a single map, they pick up the trophy. If you guys want to continue watching this trophy ceremony, I would recommend you head on to the local stream, where our stage host will take over this ceremony and crown your champions.
Exactly. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it from us, as we're going to pass it on over to our host, Johnny, and I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of good words for us.
Antidote, I would like to speak to you instantly. This is a pretty big moment for you. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great. I don't know, I'm happy.
On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we gon' energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this is 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we